Hello. Let's see if our live stream is working this evening. Cat? Cat? Kitty? Come on. Don't hit the microphone. Don't hit the microphone. Be a good kitty. Be a good kitty. I know you want to be a good kitty. You're not going to mess with the microphone now, right, little kitty? That's a good boy, Mr. Clinton. Now, how do I get this live stream to work? Here we go. What's up? It's working. Hi, Lewis. What's up, Lewis? Clinton. Oh, there's a bunch of people here. Why, hello, everybody. Hello, Rodrigo. It's good to see you again. Rodrigo has been a regular viewer for a really long time. He used to show up on the board repair streams back in the day. I remember him. He's a good guy. Mr. Clinton is a national treasure. Indeed he is. Hey, how was your evening? I'm having a lovely evening. I'm reading a bunch of salty comments on my interview video with Sam Cedar. Lots of angry comments that I showed up on there. I don't know. It was a decent interview. He didn't strawman me. He didn't interrupt me. He didn't go out of his way to twist my words or anything like that. Cuomo sexual harassment, what do you think? I think that a big part of the problem with Cuomo is that he, even without the sexual harassment scandal, he was an asshole to a lot of people. And there were, he would try to intimidate. $5 for my cat. Thank you, Dan. Cuomo would try to intimidate people. He would try to act like a big man and, always make sure that he just acted like a piece of shit. Whether it was that that question from that reporter where he's like, you want to get a job? Go be an essential worker. Do it tomorrow. Then you won't have to worry about killing anybody. He was always an asshole. And I think he's finally getting his. And the thing is, once these things come out about him, there's nobody running to say, no, I know him. He's a good man. He would never do that. He would never abuse power. There's nobody coming out of the woodwork to defend him because he's been such an asshole to so many people for so long. So when something like this happens, everybody just seems to kind of step aside and, let him get shivved by the hashtag #MeToo. And, Linus was thinking about investing in Framework as a business. Have you ever thought about this? I have not, because I don't have the money to make any remote difference in that. But I really do hope that Framework is very successful with what they're doing, and I think it's really awesome that Linus would want to support a company that's like that. That's how you could tell when it comes to rights to repair that Linus isn't virtue signaling. Like, he really does support this stuff, and I do respect that. He's not bullshitting. He's not just saying it to appease an audience. I respect Linus for that. Because when you take the type of public stance on right to repair that Linus did, you're alienating advertisers. You're alienating a lot of the companies that are against it. And what Linus is doing when he supports right to repair and he comes out in favor of right to repair publicly, and when he says that I would look into investing in Framework, what he's doing, and I don't want to put words in his mouth, so this is my interpretation of what Linus is doing. Just to be clear, I'm not putting words in Linus's mouth, is he's just putting up a giant middle finger and saying, fuck you, I don't care about all your money, I care about my principles. And, good on him. That's how I interpret what Linus is doing, and much respect to him for it. Robust acknowledgement of Mr. Clinton, says Emery. Yes, Mr. Clinton the cat is over here, and I do love my Clinton very much. What do you think will happen Cuomo impeached? I don't know. We'll see. I thought he was going to get away with it, but after Biden said I think he should step down, it's like, yeah. Again, the sharks are circling the water. They smell blood, and that's the thing. One of the things that I've really tried to do for a long time is... I know that I'm not a good person, and I know that I make a lot of mistakes, and I know that someday I will make a... Oh, yeah, he's a cunt. I don't disagree with you there, Jazz Hands. He could have used the USS Comfort and the Javits Center to host all of the people instead of put them back in the nursing homes. They had that ship go away because they weren't using it anymore. They should have used the USS Comfort and the Javits Center to house all the individuals that they were going to put back in the nursing homes. Better than what they did, but anyway... Again, I know I make a lot of mistakes, and I know I'm not a great person, and I know that I'm going to make big mistakes into the future. And what I try to do is I try to provide as much value to society that I can, so that when the day comes that I do make that giant mistake, when I do make a giant fuck up, when I don't notice something that I should notice, when I say something that I probably shouldn't have said, that people don't see me as this person that they're happy to finally see get theirs because of how bad I treated everyone, but rather that all those people remember, that was the guy that saved me $500 $100. That was the guy that taught me how to fix something when all the other videos online were just, heavily edited crap that said send it to us and pay us for the answer and stuff like. Or that was the guy that did a free workshop where I was able to come in and get my GPS or my radio fixed for free, and I learned something. I know that I'm going to do the wrong thing at some point because I'm not a good human being. And Cuomo, I don't know what happened behind closed doors. It's not like I had a camera. I don't know if he did or didn't do the wrong thing. But the thing with Cuomo is that he was such a piece of shit to so many people for such a long time. He was such a piece of shit. He would threaten people when it came to their careers. He would threaten to ruin people. Everybody hated him. Like, there was just so much bipartisan hate for him as a human being, and he would always use his position of power to screw over people. So, when something like this happens, there's just not going to be a lot of... they're just going to be playing little Godowski violin on him. There's not going to be a lot of people who particularly care. And, it is what it is. You get what you sow. Again, I can't say on the sexual assault allegations. I wasn't in the room. I don't know any of this. I'm not, it's not like I can't. I listened to one phone call that he did where he was singing this song. He was singing a song to to somebody who called. It's like, I forget what it was. It was like, are you listening? Do you love me? I don't know if that's sexual harassment or just being a dickhead, but I don't know. But again, the thing is, he was a dick to so many people for so long that they were all waiting for an opportunity to just fucking be rid of him because he was a cunt to a lot of people. And I think the lesson to be learned from that is that you just shouldn't be a cunt to everybody that you meet, because all those people around you that are smiling, just to be able to get by right now, since they know you have power over them, are not going to defend you on the way down. The way down is going to be really, really fast, and there's not going to be a single person to grab you and help you as you're on your way to hell if that's how you treat everybody. And that's what I see there. I know I'm going to do something screwed up at some point. I know I'm going to say the wrong thing, do the wrong thing. I'm going to make a mistake. I'm going to make a serious mistake. But I really hope that there is a balance of the good that I've done versus the bad that I've done when that day comes. Okay, that's enough for Cuomo. South Dakota, please come see the beauty known as Business Refuge. But seriously, I work at the state capitol. I've given your information to the governor. I swear to you, I think it will work for you and your company. Thanks for everything. Very cool. I will visit South Dakota. Maybe the next time that I go to visit my dad, I'll go see Sioux Falls or Rapid City or something like that. But yeah, I think this is what people are playing for Cuomo. I'm just going to put this on for a moment. Fuck Cuomo. Do you fix PC motherboards? And if you do, how much do you charge? I don't, because desktop PC motherboards cost close to nothing, and there's no schematics available for them. So, I mean, if you can replace a motherboard for $150, there's not really much incentive structure to pay me. Oh, shit. You couldn't hear it? Okay, give me a second. Give me a second. I'm going to play it. It's really important that you hear the song that I just played for Cuomo. It's very important. Okay. One moment. This is important. This has to happen before we continue the stream, okay? I'm sorry if this is aggravating for you guys, but this is incredibly important. You need to hear this. Okay. So I'm going to show you what every other New York City or New York State politician is doing for Andrew Cuomo. You ready? Wait, damn it. One moment. Okay, this is screwed up. I'm going to fix it. Okay, I may not be able to fix it on this stream. It may require a lot of troubleshooting. That makes me sad. Yeah, that makes me really sad. I don't want to troubleshoot shit when I'm live streaming. Come on, you work, you piece of shit. Okay. Desktop audio. Yeah, let's get this going. All right. One more time, baby. Hopefully we can get this to work. Okay. Oh, fuck off, OBS. Alright, OBS is broken. Oh, well. I'll play it later. Oh, now I see what I did wrong. My bad. Okay, I know. I see what I did. I screwed something up. Okay, I got it. Okay, here we go. You ready, folks?
robust.
Suck my balls, Cuomo. How high do you think the Cuomo cabanas will get before New York City actually steps in? I don't know what that means. How high? I'm sorry. I appreciate the $5. I really do, but I can't make heads or tails of that sentence. I feel really bad because you gave me $5, but I can't make heads or tails of that sentence. That's the world's smallest violin playing for Andrew Cuomo. Couldn't have happened to a nicer guy. Fucking prick. Then there was all that stuff about it, supposedly his wife sleeping in the bathroom or in another room just so that he wouldn't abuse her. Do you have any crypto? And do you have a link to donate to Right to Repair in crypto? I don't have a link to donate to Right to Repair in crypto. I used to, but I have sold all of the crypto that I had. Hello, Travis. If the government cares for us, why don't they have a government mandate to install far UVC lamps in every public place to kill virus and bacteria? Because that seems like the return on investment would be really, really low, and that's probably not going to actually get rid of a lot of the viruses and bacteria, because a lot of it spreads via the air. And if you have just giant UV lights pointing into the air in front of you, where people are sneezing and doing things like that, then you're also exposing them to UV, which is not particularly healthy. I'm not a doctor or anything, but having giant UV lights everywhere doesn't seem like a particularly great idea. Rick Tech says, "Are you still mad?" No, I'm not mad. I'm a happy guy. Do you think it's worth the risk to buy water damage max on eBay to practice repair? As long as you are not looking to make money on them, it's fine. On eBay, you're going to overpay for everything, because on Craigslist, you have multiple people working together to bring the price down. On eBay, you have multiple people working together to bid the price up. So on eBay, you're going to overpay for everything. Also on eBay, you're going to get the jobs that everybody else didn't want. Again, a computer doesn't end up on eBay because it's an easy fix. It ends up on eBay when the user tries to fix it and fails, brings it to a repair shop that then says it's not economically viable to repair, and then puts it on eBay. So you're kind of getting the MacBook after it's been through the intestines and come out the other end. Cuomo cabanas, indoor-outdoor structures, or de Blasio bungalows if you prefer. They're going to be up for a really long time. Because the thing is, a lot of the restaurants right now, the only reason that they're able to be sustainable and pay their back rent is because they're able to have more customers. And the reason they're able to have more customers is because they're able to seat them both inside and outside. And there's going to be a lot of resistance towards them getting rid of those structures. Once you get people used to something, you really can't take it away. Like, you can't, it's kind of like trying to take a food coloring out of water. You can really easily add food coloring to water, but you can't take it out. And once you've gotten business owners used to the fact that they can actually afford to pay their rent rather than go out of business every 18 months, which is what happened at every single restaurant in New York City. They all go out, most of them go out of business after 18 months and a new one winds up in there. They're not going to give that back very quickly. When are you moving out of New York City? Well, the first thing I need to do is find an area that I feel comfortable living in. And after that, I would have to figure out if I am moving my location or if I'm opening a second location. Or there's always the option that I just let my current location run itself and I move to a new location and I just retire. But retirement would be probably very boring for me. I'd likely lose my mind. I'm a bastard when I have nothing to do. I need something for my brain to chew on. And if I don't have something for my brain to chew on, I become an anxious, depressed, lunatic basket case, which is why I spend a lot of my time working. I think that's why I spent most of my 20s working. And anytime I got to the point where I didn't have to go to work anymore, I created a new challenge for myself. Like 2014, I had left for 6 weeks. 6 weeks. 6 weeks I was gone. Or 3. I figured if it was 3 or 6 weeks. I think it was 6 weeks I was gone. The company made more money with me not there. Everything was great. So I came back and I had nothing to do. I spent a month not really doing much, and I lost my freaking mind. So I started getting into the board repair stuff more. I fired the company I was outsourcing it to, which had 5 employees just working on my company's stuff. And I said, I'm going to do it all on my own. And that, again, stayed up till 4 a.m. every day, got to work early, left late, got the gray hairs, it was very stressful to have to keep up with the queue on that all on my own, particularly while learning. It was very, very stressful. But at the same time, without the stress, I just kind of I don't know. It's weird. I need something for my brain to chew on. Please leave the hellfire that is any blue state or city. I refuse to believe that all blue states and cities are hellholes simply because New York City has its issues. I'm not that far ideologically possessed, and I have visited more red areas of the country, and there are red areas of the country where everything's great, and there are red areas of the country that are Lumberton, North Carolina. Again, there's a a lot of the stuff is that when you have an area that doesn't have a high population and there's not really a lot going on there, it can still suck. It's just that since there's not a lot going on there, there's nobody there to even really report how much it sucks or talk about how much it sucks, in spite of the fact that it can indeed suck. No offense to the people that are stuck in Lumberton, North Carolina. Don't really have a comment, just wanted to say I love your videos. Give Mr. Clinton a pet and a greenie for me. Well, I will give him a pet. This is Mr. Clinton getting a pet. I just saw the majority report, but good stuff. You should reach out to Tim Pool or Crowder or InfoWars to show this is not a nonpartisan issue. I reached out to Steven Crowder several months ago. I reached out to him twice, and I never heard back. Again, it's not like I'm more than happy to go on any of these people's shows. I actually got an email back from Tim Pool's producer today, so I may be going on that show in a few days. So for all of you who are really mad that I showed up on Sam Cedar's podcast, oh, be ready to be even more mad. Tim Pool has a lot of titles to his videos that... the one issue that I have with Tim Pool, the one is like when I scroll through the titles of the videos, it seems like there's an interest in making me believe the world is shittier than it is. But I'll be honest, I just haven't given his content a chance. I haven't really watched it much. I haven't watched much of it actually at all. So I don't know. Again, a lot of people from my audience want to see me talk to him, so I'm more than happy to talk to him. As I said, if somebody's got 1 million subscribers and they're open to talking about right to repair, who am I to not talk to them? You know, when I took $800,000 or $900,000 of people's money to lobby on behalf of Right to Repair and started a 501c4 that does it, I think I really gave off. I really gave up the privilege and the luxury of being able to say, I'm not going to talk to you, I'll talk to you. Like, no, that's not something I can do. Anybody that I can speak to raise awareness for Right to Repair, I will talk to. And if it makes me evil and if my audience hates me because I talk to Tim Pool or Sam Cedar or the Wall Street Journal or the New York Post or CNN, then fuck them. I spoke to The Guardian and CNN recently. I don't know, they're mainstream news, but I'll speak to anybody about this issue. I will talk to anybody on this issue. Doesn't matter. Okay, maybe I'm not David Duke, but you get the idea. Just binged the News Star videos from Surge to Move in first time seeing the whole story. Never truly appreciated how scummy Eugene was. Yeah, Eugene's a scumbag. He's a scumbag in my opinion. Do you like Larry Sharpe at all? I voted for Larry Sharpe. I did. I had a banner on my video several years ago. Crowder is having surgery right now. Tim Pool would like to have you. I contacted Steven Crowder way before the surgery thing, though. Come to Wisconsin. I live in Appleton, which is about 50-50 red-blue. It's a swing state, so neither side dominates with their crap. It's great. Yeah, my father lives in Brookfield, and I visit from time to time, and I really do enjoy Brookfield. Hair of the dog, I will not stop bashing your town. I had a freaking 86-year-old nursing home patient smash into my car by making a left at an intersection without looking. I will bash Lumberton. And I got chased around the damn gas station by 3 people that thought that I couldn't tell that they were fucking following me. No, I'll bash Lumberton. I bash New York City enough. I gotta start. Come on, I bash the fuck out of New York City. But I'm not biased here. I don't care if it's red or blue. I'll bash the shit out of it if there's a reason to. If it earned the bashing, I will earn it the bash. I will give it the bashing. When I got to my motel, little cat trees for Mr. Clinton, thank you. When I got to my hotel in Lumberton, I shit you not, there was the woman said, you know, what do you do? And I said, I'm number 1 in MacBook repair. And she goes, oh, we're number 1 in crime. No, really, Google it. We're number 1. And I'm like, oh, well, that's great. And I wanted to go out to get something to eat. It was like 1 or 2 in the morning, and the only place that I could get a snack was the gas station. She's like, you probably shouldn't walk out there, son. And I'm like, what are you talking about? Everybody here's like 90 years old. I'm not afraid of this. Oh, that was funny. I learned what she meant. Love the content, Lewis. I play them in the background a lot while I'm driving. Keep up the good work. Thank you very much, Nick. I appreciate that. Mr. Clinton is an adorable little kitty. He is hugging me with his arms and his legs. He's so cute. I love this kitty. Do you think things will go back to normal or will COVID become a forever crisis? I think things will have a chance of becoming a forever crisis because I think the goal at this point is COVID being gone. And I don't see COVID going away. We'd love to see a stream with you and Nick Rakita about our right to repair and passports. Make it happen. Contact at fighttorepair.org. Set it up. Set it up. Kyle Kalinsky. I reached out to his Discord about, that was probably 4 or 5 months ago. I forget what happened with that. Crowder is recovering at the moment. Thankfully, I also wish to apologize for my heated comment in the earlier video. I didn't mean it as such. We're trying to agree with you, but failed. It's understandable. No worries. People get really... Here, the thing that triggers me more than anything else is when people say, I can't believe you gave that person a platform. You shouldn't have done that. Because in the early days, that typically tend to be, you know, something that I saw a lot from the left. And now it's something I'm seeing from the right as well. And it doesn't really see... And it really worries me. It's aggravating. This whole idea that if I speak to somebody that you disagree with, then not only do you ascribe all the negative things to me that you ascribe to the person you disagree with just because I talk to them, but it's just very aggravating. It's absolutely horrible. Like Tim Pool says, the night is darkest before the dawn. Eventually, New York City will regain the swag it had, the Twin Towers will be rebuilt, and all will be made right in the world. Well, hopefully, we'll see. I hope the city comes back. I hope it does well. I do think it needs to kind of have a reboot. Sam Cedar has 1 million subscribers, but only gets a few thousand views in his videos. Yeah, so do I. Welcome to YouTube, man. Welcome to YouTube. What would you invest in now? Invest in yourself, man. Not everything is red or blue, just like your videos that emphasize taking in both sides and finding a solid, reasonable middle ground. Yeah, it's very difficult to not be ideologically possessed nowadays. I think what bothers me the most is when someone says you can't talk to that person because you're giving them credibility or you're signal boosting them. Anytime someone says I'm amplifying or signal boosting someone that's problematic, like those words just send a chill up my spine. It's very annoying. Like people wouldn't have the viewpoints, you know, that person would never think what they thought. But because I said something, because I spoke to them now, it's like, no, people can think for themselves. Get out of here. And if they couldn't think for themselves, they couldn't think for themselves long before they met me anyway. Mr. Clinton is being extra cuddly kitty today. He is. He's being very cute. I bet he wants a greenie. You want a greenie? You can't get a greenie because I have to get up for that. So. Charlotte, North Carolina, checking in, move here. I'll visit. Sam has hundreds of thousands of fake subscribers. I don't know, so do I. If I do a board repair video, it gets 7,000 views. 7,000. I have 1.6 million subscribers. Do the math there. That's 0.5%. 0.5%. Like, I mean, I don't know how this stuff works. I'm actually able to keep up with the chat decently tonight. Cuomo going to Guantanamo. Nah, that's not going to happen. He's probably just going to fade out of public light. Greetings from Bushwick. Keep up the good work. I used to live on Soydam and Knickerbocker back in 2009. There was a place on 247 Star Street called Las Palmas. It was an amazing, beautiful Mexican restaurant. And it got replaced with some dumpy-ass hipster bullshit bar with overpriced alcohol. So much of that area now is actually overpriced hipster bullshit. I miss Bushwick when they had Las Palmas. Every day I'd come home, get off the L at the Jefferson stop, and right outside there, I'd be able to get my 3 quesadillas every day. And they were amazing. Every good Mexican food place in this city leaves. It's so fucking frustrating. Lucha, Las Palmas, and they all get replaced with bullshit hipster bars. It's so... I feel guilt by association is a toxic trait inside of this dangerous thought process. I agree we need to maintain open dialogue with everyone. Keep the great working content. Yeah, that's the thing that pisses me off. It's like, if I point out that outdoor dining is bullshit, right? What people will say is, Lewis, you're being problematic because now you're attracting people that are right-wing to your channel that are anti-vaxxers. It's like, no. I think that the people that are anti-vaccine are... I got it. I looked at the risks. They were ridiculously low. I get some of the things they're pissed about, like the liability shield or it not being FDA approved, but sometimes I think they're going way fucking overboard on it. And like, I disagree with all that. But we just so happen to have this really, really, really small Venn diagram overlap where we think that indoor-outdoor dining, the way it is done in New York City, is fucking bullshit. And it's funny, and we laugh at it. And I'll be happy to laugh with, at the bullshit that's going on in the city with an anti-vaxxer, and then say, I think you guys are insane with the whole Bill Gates, Fauci bullshit with that being, all the conspiracy theory shit. But again, Venn diagrams are a thing. Thank you, Jim Hook. I appreciate that. I hope Australia is doing well. Farouk is different than UVC. It was researched by Columbia University, and it kills viruses and bacteria, and it doesn't harm the skin or the eyes. And it kills airborne viruses. We need to spread the news about these lamps. I don't know anything about it, and I don't think I'd be able to look up something about it in the very limited time I have in between people sending me chats in this chat. But I have my doubts. But again, I'm not a scientist. I don't really know how most of that stuff works. But I wouldn't say that the government, quote, doesn't care about you because they don't put UVC in the park. They don't care about you because they take 40 to 50% of your money and they give you jack shit in return for it. That's the real issue, not lacking UV lights in a park. Thanks for your right to repair work. Any general studying advice? I don't. You have to find something that you're motivated in, that you actually want to study. If you're studying something that you don't enjoy, it's just not going to work well for you. That's why I quit college. I feel bad because you donated $2 for that shitty advice. But yeah, I don't have, I left college because it was a giant fail for me. I couldn't study things that I wasn't interested in, and I just didn't want that to be my life anymore. Emily, email me, lewis@rossmanngroup.com, and I'll find you it. What is the best piece of advice you ever received? Thank you for the content. I go through the core philosophies playlist when time gets tough. Roy Hendrickson, there's nothing college can teach you that you can't learn on your own if you really want to learn it. That was part of the advice that got me to think about quitting college and starting my business. Another $2 to encourage you to come to Charlotte. Okay, so $2 to come to Charlotte, but what's the 1 cent for? Lewis, are you related to Cuomo? I will time you out for asking that question. Some people just don't deserve free speech. Some people don't deserve rights. Some accusations are just too much. Off to your gulag, mofo. Next. Where do you get your ideas from? My brain. I think. I try not to let other people put ideas in there. I try to allow them to naturally form. I try not to be a mouthpiece for other people's ideology. I'll be honest with you, the hardest thing over the past 5 years of my life has been not allowing me to be a mouthpiece for somebody else's ideology. It's really fucking hard because everybody nowadays is becoming a mouthpiece for somebody else's ideology. You can just tell when you're talking to somebody that it's like you know exactly what they're going to say and think about every single thing. You could have a list of 20 issues and you know exactly what they're going to say, what they're going to believe, what they're going to tweet based on their answer to one question. And it's scary and it fucking freaks me out. Come check out Des Moines, Iowa. I'll check out Iowa. I've never been to Iowa before. I tried. Lewis, I love your content, but somewhere down the line you become a politics channel and I'm not interested anymore. Then unsubscribe. Why do you have to give me $5 for this? Like, why do you need attention that badly? Why? What is it with the histrionic personality? If you go back through my channel videos from the very beginning, from the first day, you will see that this channel has always been a variety show about whatever is on my mind at that particular point in time. That's always been what this has been. It's not like I'm hiding the ball here with anything. If you look, I've always had a list of videos that are just about random shit. Do you think one of the most underrated things about your career job, which allows you to make controversial repair videos, is that you aren't beholden to a company or boss and you can't get canceled? I'm definitely beholden to somebody. I'm beholden to my customers. I have to provide them with good service, and if I don't provide them with the best service, I go out of business. And of course, anybody can be canceled. If I piss off enough people, then people will decide they don't want to show up to my business. It's always an issue. It's just I'm not stuck with one person who can cancel me. I would need to be canceled by the overall society. Reminds me of what the Factorio devs did. They made a blog post quoting another dev, and the community complained they should have added a disclaimer that the other dev is questionably. Oh, fuck that shit. Seriously. If somebody has questionable beliefs and you quote them, that doesn't mean that you support every single thing they said. It means you support this one fucking quote. It may not even mean that you support them. You just may be saying it, just quoting it because you want to quote it to bring it up as a discussion. This guilt by association shit needs to fucking end. It's a toxic cancer that keeps people from actually being able to talk to each other and keeps them in their own bullshit ideological echo chambers, and it's disgusting. And I'm not going to associate with that. Fuck that. Amazing Cuomo's going down, not because he killed all people, but because he's a creep. I mean, listen. Listen. Whatever gets the job done. Oh, yeah, so let's just go over my channel. Groupon and what it can do for your business. Restocking fee. Branding is evil. Resellerratings.com extortion scam. My opinion of yuppies. My opinion of yuppies is a fucking video that was on this channel. Why technicians lie to customers. Are you a real business? Cell phone radiation. Apple doesn't give a fuck about you. A $30,000 pocket dial. Real men stock inventory. Oh, like, you know, all of this is just random shit. Like, this channel's always been random shit. If you subscribed and you got random shit and you're mad, you know, don't give me $5 and complain. Just go away. Mr. Clinton is the brains of this whole operation. He kind of is. He kind of is. He kind of is. Welcome to Texas. Oh, you're not coming to Texas? Why not? Sorry about the stuff New York City has put you through. Good luck in Florida. I'm going to visit Texas at one point. 2% property tax is kind of off-putting. And that it doesn't look like they fully took accountability for what caused their energy failures earlier this year. I really didn't like seeing people there blaming it all on green energy, particularly when Iowa has the temperatures that are 20 degrees lower and they've had none of the problems Texas did. I live in a state where the politicians are not willing to take accountability for things when they go wrong, and I don't want to find the red version of that. But I would love to visit Texas at some point in time. Focusing on things to bring us together and we can agree on is the most important thing today than ever. The actions of the media and the government only dividing us. Well, yeah, I don't disagree with you there. I don't disagree with you there. A lot of people that are from Texas are very, very proud. They have a lot of Texas pride, and I really love to visit someday just so I could learn what it's about. Just kind of meet some of the people, go to a restaurant, go to a bar, say hi to everybody, and kind of understand the culture a bit to see what it is that makes them so proud of where they're from. I admire that about them. Any thoughts on San Francisco, following New York City? San Francisco appears to be very similar to New York City in many of the negative and positive ways. I don't really take much interest in it because it's again, like there's a lot of work involved in moving to a new place, and moving to a new place to be an exact, very similar version of what you already have doesn't really make sense. Thank you, Jorn. Hi, Louis. Bravo on the video last night. Thank you. You can't treat health policy like Robert Moses treated transportation. I read up on Robert Moses a little bit. It was about a year ago. Very interesting to read up on him. He was responsible for a lot of construction in the city, and particularly choosing how methods of transportation were constructed. What stuff went through what neighborhood and things like that. If Governor Cuomo had to be your butler for the day, what would you have him do? Gargle my balls. Adam Judd funded $5. Thank you, Adam. Same. I've had friends who become hardcore woke with the virus and everything. I'm proud that others know how informed they are. Huh. Totally random question. I'm pretty sure the answer is no. I found an A1398 in a dumpster as a password. Is there any way to wipe it clean? Give the computer back to who it belongs to, please. Did BlackRock buy your old store? No, my old store location, that entire building was purchased by Hub NYC for $14 million. The penny means it's serious. Thank you. Yeah, so Hub NYC bought that building from Allen for $14 million. Million. Allen pretty much took his bags. He took his $26 a share of BlackBerry stock and just fucking unloaded it and ran. Like, He dumped a shithole building on them for $14 million. That guy knows how to dump some bags. Why aren't you doing second floor outdoor board repair after Blasio and Cuomo jamokes? I should be. I would save a lot of money on rent. Watch your interview with Sam Cedar today. I thought you did a great job making the case for right to repair. Thank you, Crazy. I'm glad. It's not a vaccine. It's experimental gene therapy. Oh, fuck off with this crazy shit. Well, okay. Can you sign my Start With No book and remove its JTAG? It doesn't have a JTAG, but I'd love to sign your book, and I hope that you got out of that book what I got out of that book. Every time I've disobeyed what was in that book, I wound up screwing myself in my life. Hi, Lois. I remember hearing the perfect mask quote, wearing a mask to prevent the transmission of a virus is like putting a screen door in a submarine to keep out water. It's not about keeping you from getting it. It's about mildly reducing the chances of you spreading it to somebody else. And it does that. Again, is that like, would you prefer to have an N95? Yes, but before they were available, you do what you can do. I was taking online college classes in the Navy. I quit because most of the classes were watch YouTube videos about X and write an essay about it. Yeah, modern college is something else. It wasn't for me. I'll leave it at that. It wasn't for me. Thank you for all you do. You've helped me with many fixes over the years. I do it for free because it's mostly for family or friends, and I'm a network engineer, and I can do it on the side to learn more. You're a great person. From Pyro Ferguson for $100. What the? That's insane. Thank you very much. I don't think I'm that good a person, and I always try to, I harp on that a lot because I don't want people to see me as something better than I am. I know who I am. I know what thoughts go through my head. I know what governs my decisions, and I know I'm not that good a human being. I mean, I'm myself, so I know myself. But I appreciate it, and I'm glad that you were able to take the content on this channel and use it to do repairs for people. A lot of people ask, what can I do for right to repair? But when you get other people involved by saving them money, and also when you get that little kick of dopamine in your head and get to share it with other people, that excitement of making something work out of nowhere, that's the kind of happiness that is really sustainable, and that's the kind of way that you get people involved for life here. You should come check out Iowa. Des Moines is okay. I will check it out. And I'll check out Iowa at some point. What was the video about you not being afraid to fail? I got to find it. I don't remember. Tech is amazing. Email me at lewis@rossmanngroup.com, because if I try to find it right now, I'm going to miss out on 5 other comments. Email me, lewis@rossmanngroup.com, and I will respond to you once I'm done with this. Because I gotta fish it out. I got to figure out which video you're talking about and fish it out. That chair looks very comfy. It's short-term comfy. It's not long-term comfy. I had a recliner before this that was way more comfortable. And I haven't found it. Your rant about the passport vaccine was epic. Thank you. Thank you. Honestly, I likely should have lost my shit at the time of the pause order or when the city had people destroying all the different stores in my area. I don't know what it was. I can't say what it is that made that the last straw for me, but it just was the last straw. For many people, COVID-19 is way more than just a flu. Prior to vaccination, my odds of surviving COVID was 0.4. Even fully vaccinated, I still have a 43 risk of death from COVID-19 if I get it. Oh, I'm glad you were able to get a vaccine. And I understand that for a lot of people, it's more than just a flu, which is why I'm happy to take basic precautions. And again, in the beginning of it, I socially distanced. I moved everything apart in my store. I did my running at night when there's nobody around instead of doing my running during the day. Yeah, just email me. I did my running at 1 or 3 in the morning when nobody was outside rather than running during the day, so that if I'm breathing when I pass someone, I'm not going to potentially transmit it. I wore a mask to work and everything else. I did reasonable stuff. It's mainly when they say you have to shut down your business and stay at home and your living doesn't matter and your life doesn't matter. That's where I drew the line. And what really bothers me is that there's just fundamentally no middle ground. Like, you're either all or nothing. You're either a COVID denier or a full-on authoritarian, and there really is a middle ground. With all there's a lot of people that are willing to just take basic precautions. They're just not willing to destroy their lives over it. I feel bad for you. I really do. And I would not want to infect you. I'd want to take every precaution I could to avoid infecting you. But there are just certain areas where I just draw the line and say no. Do you get more fulfillment from your life advice videos or your board repair videos? I get fulfillment not from the board repair videos. I get fulfillment from the results of them. When someone shows me something they were able to fix, or when someone says, The best one was when I got this letter in the mail from somebody who said, this is the car that I was living in before I started doing this, and this is the shop that I now have. Thanks for all the videos that taught me how to do this. I almost started crying in my office when I got that. That was really rewarding. Do you think you were a cat in a past life? I don't believe in having past lives, but I don't think I would have been a cat. No, cats, I don't know. I don't think I would have been a cat. The butcher says stay out of Florida. I don't understand that. Why? I saw your video on New Jersey being a mess. Huh. Cool. That chair seems very comfy. Sometimes it's comfy. No. Had my first Lacey drive sound the dreaded bleep of death. That's probably because it's using a Seagate Rosewood and those are pieces of shit. Is there an external drive brand you trust over the lot? I mean, they all suck. I would take Western Digital or Toshiba over Seagate or Lacey or Porsche Design or any of that shit. Thank you for... Oh, I read that one already. Thank you very much. But again, I'm not a great person. Never idolize me and never look up to me. You will be very disappointed. Yeah, so the problem with Lacey is that a lot of them use Seagate Rosewood series drives inside, and the Seagate Rosewood is kind of like the MacBook of hard drives. It's a complete steaming piece of shit. I would get a Western Digital or a Toshiba external. Contact Tim Cass to be on his podcast. Yes, that's going to be coming up soon. So today we had a lot of conservative tiers in my chat, and on Friday there may be a lot of liberal tiers in my chat, so that we'll have, we'll have some diversity of tiers in the bucket. Yes, so that may be coming up soon. Do you find any disconnect between consumer electronics right to repair initiatives and the automotive right to repair initiatives? The automotive right to repair initiatives seem to be very shop-centric, whereas the consumer electronics right to repair initiatives seem to be more consumer-centric, meaning that there's not a limitation that you have to be a licensed repair center in order to get access to things. That makes it more difficult to pass because it is more broad. But that's the main difference that I see. Pack up and we'll come to Orlando. We need good and honest repair shops here. You have one. I visited one of them while I was there. It was a really nice guy. Okay. I wanted to keep the AC off to avoid noise being in the stream, but it's kind of warm, so I don't love you guys that much. Sorry. Orlando wasn't... Orlando just kind of seemed devoid of culture and devoid of... I don't know what it was about Orlando. I didn't spend a lot of time there, but it just wasn't particularly... It just didn't strike me as a place that I could get people that live here to move to. If you ever get sick of people, check out Wyoming. Low taxes all around, the least populated state in the union. I don't know if that's a great idea. If you ever get sick of people, check... Guys, I took the vaccine to stay safe. Say the same idiots that have been eating food from restaurants handled by numerous strangers the whole time. No self-awareness. Well, I mean, that's a really bad argument because I think if you try to apply that to anything else, it's like, okay, let's say that you get a polio vaccine, so you avoid getting polio. I mean, getting polio is way worse than anything you're going to catch if you get food poisoning at a restaurant. It goes for virtually any vaccine. I mean, I'd much rather get food poisoning from a restaurant than get COVID, especially unvaccinated COVID. I don't know. I think that's pretty dumb. Please consider moving to Brownsville, Texas. We are small, but we have SpaceX here, and now we have 0 legit computer repair shops. Much love. I will add Brownsville, Texas to the list. RT tweeted your picture referencing your video, pro-vax but anti-authoritarian. Is RT Russian news network? Oh, God. Oh, boy. Now I can't run for president. Now I'm fucked. Oh, man. They're going to say that I'm... They're going to say that it's a Russian troll farm supporting this candidate. Oh, man, now I know I'm screwed. I don't think you should have Cuomo gargle your balls. I'm pretty sure he would enjoy it with the scandal that's out there. Yeah, he probably would, that sick fuck. The mob boss needs to get lost. He's such a bully, and I can't stand his belittling of his people. Yeah, he's a piece of shit. I mean, yeah, he's a piece of shit. He's just a piece of shit. He's a fucking piece of shit. Couldn't happen to a bigger piece of shit. Talk to us about trackball mice. They're superior because you don't have to move them around, so you can have a very limited amount of space in your desk but still get your work done. And that's very important when doing board repair on a small desk. Thank you to CompuServe. What's your opinion of unions? You need to ask a more specific question than that. That's a very difficult thing to address in one sentence. You have to be more specific. I don't mean that to be glib. You should come to Cleveland. We have depression and a lake. That's not a great sales pitch. I did stop outside of a Sheetz when I drove through Ohio, and I stayed at a $40 motel. I included it on my live channel. Lewis, will you do repairs on vaccine card readers? You need to YouTube short repost a clip of not being a mouthpiece for someone else's ideology, aka think for yourself. People need to hear that. I think they'd be really mad. I don't think people want to hear me lecture them on that. I'm not sure if this has been talked about, but is New York really mandating vaccine passports? We'll see. We'll see what they actually wind up doing. Where is Clinton? Mr. Clinton left. Lewis, thank you for what you're doing for Right to Repair. Well, thanks for watching, and hopefully you guys can all help me get something done. Real talk, QFN or BGA desoldering? I don't understand the question. Well, QFN is easier than BGA. I would say I prefer QFN, but BGA is the way everything is going nowadays because it saves space. It's just me, or do Apple engineers all eat crayons? I fix iPhones. Mac was the same way. They intentionally put the flex cable for the flash mic glued to the back glass. You have to remove the sharp knife. It seems like they do this on purpose. I don't think they eat crayons because I don't think crayons are toxic enough to do what is necessary to your brain to get you to design things like that. I would most likely imagine that they're eating leaded solder, if I had to guess. How was Majority Report? Majority Report was fine. I had a lovely time talking to Sam. He let me speak. He asked good questions. He didn't interrupt me. He didn't strawman me. He didn't try and pull any sort of disingenuous crap. I had a genuine, lovely conversation with Sam, and all this salty crap in my comments can go, I don't know, suck my nuts with Andrew Cuomo. Really, I don't know. So much hate on that guy. Just because that Steven Crowder thing. I don't get it. I really don't get it. If Charlie Brown, the lobbyist, said that he wanted to debate me, and I got on the debate, fuck me, I'm never going to get to answer this. I won't be vaccinated, but honestly, I have no problem wearing a mask and have anxiety issues, so staying 6 feet is no problem. See? Middle ground. Middle ground. But again, I don't know. Vaccination's not that bad. If Charlie Brown from CTA wanted to debate me, or Christina Fisher from TechNet wanted to debate me, or Lisa McCabe from CTI wanted to debate me, any of these lobbyists, right? They come on, and then when I went on to the debate, Tim Cook showed up instead. I don't give a fuck. I'll talk to him. I don't care. I was fine. I'd love an opportunity to steamroll Tim Cook in a debate on this, and I suck at debating. I'm one of those people that I think of the right thing to say 18 hours later. I would fail at virtually any debate because I always think of the right thing to say 18 hours later. But I don't care. And then you have this guy that's famous for debates and all this other stuff, and he won't engage with... I don't know. It just seemed lame. And then it was all the salt in my comment section about the Sams. I don't know. I'm going to piss off people, but he wasn't that bad a guy to me. Maybe he will be in the future, but who knows? The people that are salty that I talk to someone they don't like are all welcome to unsubscribe. I don't care. Rights to repair combined with online privacy and freedom of speech would be great applying for someone's platform. By the way, Florida is like Texas without their weird hang-ups. What's a weird hang-up in Texas? James says, hey, Lewis, I love your videos. Grew up in New York City before moving to Seattle. So beautiful here. It's crazy how true everything you're saying about New Yorkers. There are 5 different types of people with millions of clones of them. Yes, and it becomes bothersome. I'm visiting New York City from LA next week and was wondering what is your favorite ramen and pizza place so I can try it out. My favorite pizza place would be Artichoke on 14th Street and 2nd Avenue. I think they have a new location. Keep up the great work. You should check out San Diego on places to live. I checked out San Diego 5 years ago, and it was insanely expensive, and I can only imagine with all the inflation that's even worse now. Also work in Chelsea at a big TV place, you know the place, and our vaccine policy doesn't know its ass from its pee-pee bus. I don't think I know the big TV place. I don't think I know the TV place. I feel dumb. Love the Stream of Thought videos. If you get tired of dealing with people... Oh, I think I read that one. Okay, so I've caught up on the Streamlabs ones. Now back to normal chat. Let's see if I can find the normal chat window. I believe I've just mislocated it. Here we go. If the confidence of an opinion someone holds is strong, the more skeptical of that opinion you should be. Agree or disagree? It depends. You can I think you can tell confidence because somebody knows what they're talking about versus Dunning-Kruger confidence. It tends to come out when they say you're an idiot, but they don't use an apostrophe on the word you're, like stuff like that. You know, what type of confidence is it? Because there's real confidence from knowing your shit, and there's Dunning-Kruger confidence from being an idiot. Mr. Clinton, come up here, Mr. Clinton. NA funded $14.99. Reddit. Huh. What about Reddit? Okay, what do I got here? Bipartisan tears taste better. We'll see. We're going to have a lot of tears all around soon. Any thoughts of doing a collaboration with Linus or Gamers Nexus? Gamers Nexus is an honestly nice guy. It's just when it comes to collaborations, I don't really know what to do. Most of my content is just me talking in a chair about whatever I'm thinking about that day, and that's really strange, isolated content. I didn't get a response from my last super chat. I got scammed. Indeed you did. And you know exactly what you said, and you know why you didn't get a response. So GTFO. I don't really... most people on YouTube love to see collaborations, but the problem is... I don't script my content. I don't really understand why anybody watches this shit channel to begin with. So it's really difficult to come up with scripted content that involves somebody else to get, to get them on screen. Look at the videos I do that blow up. An empty parking lot in New York City. Here's an empty store. Here's let me measure this place that this realtor is lying about. I'm gonna fix a motherboard today. It's really just what I'm doing that day. There's no real scripting going on here. It's just, I don't know, what's going through my head. Are gaming graphics cards something you repair? If so, are there any issues sourcing parts for them? I don't fix those, and there's probably an issue sourcing the GPU when you need them. I am giving a grant soon from Repair Preservation Group to an individual who's going to be writing a series of guides for the wiki, who's an expert on component-level graphics card repair. So I will be posting a video on that shortly once I'm able to get that grant agreement done. Something I've learned about 501c3s is that they are lawyer money printing machines, and it's really aggravating. And I'm going to actually try to find a way to do more of the charity through my for-profit business, because having to deal with a lawyer every time I want to do something is just really, really not the way that I want to get things done. But yeah, we're going to be adding that to the wiki at some point. Everyone has flaws. We all do. It is one strength that be defining. You have two of the most important strengths, honesty and integrity. Yeah. I don't know. I don't want to talk myself up too much. I don't think I'm particularly honest, and I don't think I have integrity. But I appreciate it. I think I answered that one. You want to go to Artichoke on 14th Street between 1st and 2nd Avenue. They moved recently, so I don't know if they're still there. I know they have a new location. But look up Artichoke. It should be somewhere on 14th Street. I haven't been there in 5 years. I've been trying to cut down on my carbs. But it's different. 99% of that whole, New York has the best pizza, 99% of it is garbage bullshit crap that when you pick it up, it just flops over. I hate that shit. If I get a pizza, I want to fucking pick it up and not have to fold it. It should be a real pizza. And they make real pizza. A PhD virologist, Geert, name I can't pronounce, believes that vaccinating the majority of the populace at the height of the pandemic will increase the chances of mutating arising that will bypass the vaccine. I don't have a fucking clue about any of that. I fix MacBooks for a living and pet my cat, so... I'm not going to argue with you one way or the other. I have no idea. I don't know. Looks like most of the people that are ending up in the hospital with COVID are people that are unvaccinated, not vaccinated. So, yeah. Have you considered being on Joe Rogan? Yes, I've also considered buying stocks that quadruple in a year. Sometimes I consider winning the lottery, and every now and then I consider going out on a date with, I consider, asking Ruby Lewis or Christy Brinkley on a date. It's a really weird question, because when people ask me to go on these shows, they assume that the limiting factor is not that he has millions of other people that want to show up on his show, but it's that I haven't asked. I've asked. Well, no, it is what it is. Due to familial allergies, it's a huge risk for my girlfriend to get the vaccine. Mandates will make her unable to do almost anything. No, that's not true. She'll be able to move to Florida. Jacksonville, Fort Lauderdale, Miami, Tampa, Pensacola. No, that's not true. She can move to Florida. She will be 100% able to move to Florida. Lewis, have you ever thought of becoming an alcoholic? I have not. I have some interesting family history with that, and I chose to cut out alcohol entirely when I realized it was very easy for me to drink way too much compared to the people that I was with, and I did not want to go down that path. Learned a bunch about electronics, never paid a dime. Have you considered setting up in Columbus, Ohio? Here's going to be the next hot city. I'll visit. I haven't been to Columbus, Ohio, but I'll visit sometime. And thank you for the $25. You can learn a lot about electronics just watching EVblog or Afro Tech Mods or Steel Wheels Down on YouTube. There's a lot you could learn. Yeah, when it comes to alcoholism, I really noticed that it was very easy to drink way too much way too soon. And then when I learned a little bit more about my family history, it's like, oh, that's why. Okay. Yeah, I went entirely cold turkey on alcohol. Fuck that. I'm not going to be an addict. Screw that. It's really easy to see. Like, I could just see the slope of where that was going, and it's like, nope. Fuck that. Cold turkey, no excuses, no bullshit. Nope, not happening. What's a good way to get Max to practice on if eBay isn't a good option? You don't want to practice on other people's hardware. And literally anywhere. Craigslist, recycling centers. Again, eBay is not a bad option. It's just an expensive option. Hey, Lewis, as a 12-year-old employee of the Cupertino Company you love to hate, I really like your work and wish you the best of luck in your perfect repair. P.S. Your F.U. de Blasio video made me a little moist. Well, if there's anything I dream of in this world, it's making people with men's names in my live chat and a YouTube video moist. You've made my day. Honestly, the hardest part of this business is finding used machines that are broken, but broken in a way that are fixable to learn, or just to resell. Like, if I could do that, I would have been reselling computers like crazy. I wouldn't have just been reselling 1 or 2 computers a year. Come to St. Louis. You have a cool arch to look at and no other redeeming qualities. You know what? That's not a great sales pitch, so I probably won't. But I appreciate your $5. What do you think about Michigan? Gretchen Whitmer. Nope. I want to deal with a dictator as a governor. I'll just stay in New York. Thank you very much. Also work in Chelsea at the big TV place. I don't know the name of it. I don't know why you think I know the name of the big TV place. Shit. YouTube chat just cut out everything from 11:21 to 11:35. Damn you. I study urban planning. I've enjoyed your little series on abandoned shops. May I write you about the parking lot video, please? Also visit Indiana. Lewis at RossmannGroup.com. If you know how to spell my name right, then you will be able to get through to me. That is the first gatekeeping exercise. Can you spell my name right when I say it's Lewis at RossmannGroup.com? I really should have registered Rossmann with one N.com. There's probably tens of thousands of emails in that inbox from people that can't spell my name. Can you scratch Clinton's behind and see if he goes meow, meow, meow? Oh, he did give a little meow, but you probably couldn't hear that. Okay, this is interesting. I keep getting the same one over and over again. What you want to do is visit Artichoke on 14th Street. I think they're still in the East Village area. I know that they moved from their old shop. I think it was a little too small, or maybe they just had a shitty landlord. But definitely check out Artichoke. And when you get pizza, you don't want to get that pizza where you have to fold it 5 times. Like, fuck that shit. You want to get pizza that you can actually pick up, like a man's pizza. Love your videos. Grew up in New York City before moving to Seattle area recently. So beautiful. Oh. Yeah, there are 5 different types of people with millions of clones of them. Yeah. Interesting how it's repeating itself. What is your take on critical race theory? I have a knee-jerk reaction to not like it, and I can't explain particularly why that is. I think the reason that it is because it seems to view the world through a particular lens, and I don't like the idea of viewing the world through a lens of an ideology. And I think that goes back to what I said about 20 or 30 minutes ago, is something that I found myself doing, and I try very much so to avoid doing it, and it's very easy to fall into. I don't want to view the world through the lens of this ideology, through the lens of this is the specific thing that is causing all of these problems. This is the reason that things are like. I don't want to do that, and I feel like that's what it does. Can medical machines be abused by the manufacturers? I don't know. I do know that they make it very difficult to repair them, and I do know that they try to keep motors out of them. I'm not on the political right, and I will not take the current vaccines. Maybe a traditional vaccine next year. Till then, I'll change my lifestyle and avoid humans. Yeah, one thing about COVID is that it gave a lot of people that don't like humans an excuse to avoid humans. I think that it would be different if you had, let's say, like if you want to have kids read the new Jim Crow, okay, fine, have them read the new Jim Crow. I don't have a problem with that. You want to teach it to kids, go for it. Add discrimination and disparities by Thomas Sowell in there. That's probably not going to happen though. Do you have the self-repair manifesto poster for my Fix It in your store? It seems like a missed opportunity. I don't have that poster in my store. I don't have that. I have a crocheted picture of Mr. Clinton in the front of my store. Give me a grant for my expertise on the 20 volts of the GPU. We can't talk about that, Sonny. Can I buy the right to repair your busted Christmas tree? Just kidding. I agree with your ideas, and I agree with your thoughts on Blasio's vaccine mandates. Would following Cuomo around your house get more views than following cats around your house? You should test that theory. It might be insightful. I'd have to invite Cuomo to my house for that. My Christmas tree is not for sale, and it's not busted. It works. Don't you insult my Christmas tree. Would you repair my MacBook for Bitcoin? Sure. 1 Bitcoin, I will fix your MacBook. Once you have transferred the 1 Bitcoin, I will definitely fix your MacBook for a Bitcoin. Have you been invited to the Timcast IRL podcast? Will you eventually go and talk? I think it will be cool. Yes, I was invited. And again, today I had a lot of right-wing tears in my chat when I spoke with Sam Cedar. And most likely after I speak with Tim, I will have a lot of left-wing tears in my chat. So it'll be good once everybody hates me all around. We'll have a bipartisan pitchforking of me for speaking to people that they're not supposed to talk to. Do you or any of your right to... Again, I spoke to the Guardian newspaper. I had a 45-minute phone call with someone from the Guardian. I also spoke to the National Review, the Wall Street Journal, and the American Conservative. I don't care. I'll speak to everybody on every side of the aisle. And people can get mad at it, but it is what it is. I can't control that. Can you scratch Mr. Clinton behind the ears to see if he goes meow, meow, meow? Mr. Clinton jumped on the... Actually, Mr. Clinton, get the fuck off of it. Mr. Clinton? Mr. Clinton? Okay, he knows I'm bluffing. I used to do this to get him off the counter, but that doesn't work anymore because he knows I don't actually throw it. You called my bluff, you fuck, but I'm going to find some other way to get you off of the counter. You know I'm streaming and I can't get up right now, you little shit. No question, just F. Bill de Blasio. F. Bill de Blasio, indeed so. Mutations do not occur due to vaccines, says Kyo. Will happen regardless. The 2-shot vaccine saves many people from dying from Delta. The 2 vaccine does appear to save a lot of people from dying from Delta, and I did a video on this a while ago, which is why I find it particularly funny when people slander me by saying that I'm anti-vax. Here is a video of me getting the vaccine and then showing that I'm still healthy afterwards by lifting weights, and here is a video I did on the vaccine. Positive COVID news I wish got more attention from people reporting on the Delta variant, and I even linked to the study that shows it. But, I don't know. I'm anti-vaccine because I think indoor-outdoor dining is bullshit. Whatever. What are your thoughts on 3D printing and its possible contributions to right to repair? I really expected 3D printing to be a lot more popular than it actually wound up being about 7 or 8 years ago. I think people eventually figured out that I'm going to steal this line from Scott Galloway, that we already have a 3D printer and it's called China. What Ben Heck was able to do to fix his Sony AX53 using a 3D printer, that's the future. Once more people get involved in that, What criteria are you considering when you're taking the relocation? Obviously, there's so much more to consider than size or taxes. Low property tax, no state income tax. How to put this? Decent for business. Not a place that has stuff to do, so that there's actually a chance that I might be able to persuade some of the people that work here to move there, and that if they move there, they're not going to be bored out of their mind for the rest of their lives. People that are good people, but the thing is, to figure that out, you got to spend a good amount of time in an area to get a feel for what it is, and that's going to take a lot of research. Really enjoyed your discussion in the majority report. I'm left-leaning, but if you were on Sean Handy, I'd be ecstatic. This ubiquitous issue. Yeah, again, I'm trying to show up just about everywhere. Had the same issue with university. Couldn't focus studying on things I didn't care about. Now I'm a sysadmin for the same university. Also 3 cats and a happy life. 3 cats will make a happy life. I have nothing much else to say except hi from Montreal. Went to New York City back in 2008 as a school trip. I hope to visit again soon. Do you? Do you? I really hope Rights Repair goes well. I've avoided Apple my whole life, but I can't even open my current Samsung phone or my Microsoft Surface Pro 4. Samsung is basically Apple since the S6. Yeah, that was so funny. Yeah, I mean, Samsung's kind of gone full Apple in a lot of ways. Have you considered going on Rogan? I have, but considering doesn't actually make it happen. Your response if she can move to Florida is a little strange considering you're still in New York when it comes to putting your money where your mouth is. I don't think that she has a business that employs 14 people in a specialized field, but feel free to, be an asshole. Hey, Lewis, if you could have any dream software tool for assisting in your work, what would it be? I already have that dream software tool, and it's called Flex Board View by Paul Daniels, available at pldaniels.com. Check him out at youtube.com/19pld73. That's youtube.com/19pld73. His name is Paul Daniels, and you should check him out. What did you take in critical race theory? I think I just already answered that one. I have a natural aversion to a simplified way to explain problems in the world. And by far, there are so many things we have done in this country to fuck over minorities and black people. And by all means, teach people about the real history. But at the same time, anything where we are going to be able to view the world, we are going to be able to view everything that happens through this particular lens, is just something that I tend to have a high level of skepticism for. I have 7 hours left at work. Just want to say hi. Thank you, Trent. I think that there is a desire that a lot of people have to see the world as a simpler place than it actually is. The more that and I try to avoid the ideological oversimplifications for the causes or reasons for anything. The real red pill, the true red pill, is that most things are far more complicated than you think. And that the simple explanation for things is not always the actual explanation for it. I think that people need to... I don't think anything. You only needed the fear of a pandemic if the pandemic was real. You wouldn't need to tell people to get the jab if they would... Needed the fear of a pandemic if the pandemic was real. You wouldn't need to tell people to get the jab if they would run to get it. No proof. Well, I think 400,000 or 600,000 people dead and lots of people in the hospital, it does do something. Granted, COVID is not Ebola. If COVID was Ebola, I think people would be 10 times more scared. But that doesn't mean that the pandemic isn't real. When people say, well, it's just like the flu. Okay, the flu kills like 15K people a year. This kills, 600K people? It's... I don't think it's as bad as the media makes it out to be. It's not like a human extinction event, but it is serious. Do you have the Self-Repair Manifesto poster? I do not. I don't particularly... I just try to avoid anything where it oversimplifies me explaining the world. I started watching your channel by watching your board repair videos. I started watching more of your content when you started the real estate series and enjoy your take on things. Thank you, Brandon. I forget what I was talking about now. And every time I start talking about it, something shows up on the screen. Fuck. Because that question really needs a better answer than the answer that I gave it. And there was an end to that, but I couldn't find it. And now my brain has kind of shit itself. As for alcoholism, the genetically heritage is an important factor, also upbringing. Yes, the genetic part. It was way too fucking easy for me to get hooked on alcohol. Would following Cuomo... no, I answered that one. It was way too easy for me to get hooked on alcohol. And like I saw the path. I saw like, okay, today I drank this much. Today I drank that much. Today I drank that much. And all three people that I'm with drank this much. And I drank that. Like, what? And it's just like, nope. I could see the slope, and I could see far enough into the future to see I know exactly where this is going, and nope. Fuck that. Just nope. I still want to drink. That's the sad part about it. But it's like, nope. Not going down that fucking rabbit hole. I already had a friend of mine die from doing cocaine constantly. Nope, I see where that goes. Natural causes at 46. Get out of here. How often do you watch movies, and what was the last really good one you saw? I like 25th Hour with Ed Norton. I don't watch a lot of movies. If I want to do a decent Bluetooth IEM setup, how do I do that without breaking the bank? Find the Shure SE425s on sale or refurbished. Sometimes you can get them for $89 with the Shure RMC2 cable. SE425. Either post article, do the hard journalistic work of actually interviewing some vaccinated folks instead of hectoring and belittling them. I didn't. I try to avoid belittling people when it comes to that stuff because I know it's not going to convince them of my side. Like, I disagree with this one guy in my Discord, the underdog, on virtually everything. Like, virtually everything. But I still engage him with and have a conversation with him. You're not going to change people's minds. And the thing is, let's say I talk to him, and I never change his mind. There may be people watching that conversation that are open to changing their mind because rather than treat him like a cunt, I actually treated him as a human being. One thing you have to understand is when you're trying to change someone's mind is that there's people watching the conversation. And even if you don't change the minds of the person you speak to, you may change the minds of the thousands of people that see you have a cordial conversation. Had the same issue with the university, couldn't focus or study on things. I think I read that one. The CRT question. I think that a lot of people become comfortable when they feel like they understand the world. And I think there's a feeling of actual stress and anxiety when you feel like you don't understand the world. And once you have this little explanation for why things are the way they are and what needs to be done to fix it, I think it gives people a sense of purpose and meaning that lets them feel better living their lives. And if that sense of purpose or meaning is disrupted by an idea that conflicts with their way they see the world, it tends to make people anxious and angry. And that's why I think people get very ideologically possessed and in their corner when it comes to politics and very not open to hearing people who think differently. I have nothing much, because I've asked myself over the past year, like, why do people get so invested in their ideology? What is the lizard brain section that gets so invested? I think I read that one already. Appreciate the Saul reference. Here's Cash, sir, from the San Francisco Bay Area, unlike my Cupertino neighbor to the south. I do not get moist. You should check your doctor about that. Somebody's been listening to Ben Shapiro sing the lyrics to WAP a little too much if they're not getting moist. Step 1, pass mask mandate. Step 2, unvaxxed black folks are arrested trying to go in a store. Step 3, step 1, peeps cry or riot when cops enforce their rules. Okay, let's do some critical race theory over here. Ready? You ready? The vaccination rate in New York City is lowest, not among white people, among minorities. So if you limit what people can do if they're vaccinated or not vaccinated, then what you're doing is you're instituting a policy that disproportionately affects minorities and black people. Good job, de Blasio, you racist fuck. No, really, I mean, $5 to Clinton head rubs. Well, Clinton's not here, but I will consider it when he wakes up. Like, I was speaking to some of my friends who were black, and I asked them what they thought of the vaccine, and I'll be honest with you, every single one of them expressed some minor vaccine skepticism. And when I ask, it's not like, oh, in my neighborhood the pharmacy is too far away. That's not the case, because they have these vaccines available for free virtually every other fucking block in New York City. It was all the experiments that the government did, particularly utilizing minorities at the time, that just made them a little bit more skeptical of what was going on. And I remember having a conversation with them, and I just said, okay, have you looked at Phoenix or Scottsdale, Arizona for setting up? I have not looked at Arizona at all, although I did have a part-time employee from Arizona for a short period of time, and he seems to like Arizona. So I probably will check it out at some point. But I haven't put it on my list yet. I asked him, I just said, okay, now I understand everything you're saying. That all makes sense. I just have a question for you. When you go to Duane Reade or Walgreens, do you think that they're going to give you a different vaccine than you gave me? And he said, no. And then I said, okay, so do you think that I would get this if I thought it was going to kill me? And he said, no. And then I said, would you be open to getting it? And he says, no, I don't trust it. And it's like, again, I can't fucking change somebody's mind. I can't twist their arm. And yeah, if you actually do pay attention to critical race theory, this is going to be a policy that does disproportionately affect minorities. because a lot of minorities are refusing the vaccination in New York State. That's the fucking statistics. I didn't make it this way. I know somebody's going to be pissed that I said it, but I'm not, I'm not responsible for that. Fuck off. I know what the comments are going to say. Have you checked off Melbourne, Florida? We have a ton of tech industry here, and it's laid back. I haven't checked out Melbourne, Florida. I checked out Fort Lauderdale, Miami, Tampa, Orlando, Jacksonville, and some other place. You'd look good wearing just a leather vest and a jockstrap. No. You get, de Blasio gets a no, Cuomo gets a no, you get a no. It's interesting because if you actually do apply critical race theory to this policy of requiring a vaccine passport in order to get into indoor dining, essentially what you're doing is you're disproportionately keeping minorities from being able to dine indoors in New York City, which is absolutely fucking sad, but also hysterical, because New York City is one of the places where they try to be the most equitable and the most progressive in many ways, and now they're instituting a policy that is actually more racist than what you're probably going to find in the places that actually supposedly are racist, like Louisiana or Alabama or Texas or any of those places. It's really interesting. Like, we've managed to implement one of the most racist policies in the country when it comes to that, if you view it through the lens of critical race theory. Do you see the story about Ben Stiller denying there was nepotism in Hollywood last week? Definitely applies to Cuomo as well. I did not see that. I don't really keep track of what celebrities say. I'm not really interested in what celebrities say. I don't read news stories solely because they're based on what a celebrity said, and if the only reason that someone's getting attention is because they've been in a movie, but rather not because of what they've actually accomplished in life, I tend to not particularly care much about their opinion. But that's just me. Hi from the UK. Thanks to you, the confidence, 3 months. I've opened a repair shop in Southampton, and the business is starting to pick up. Getting PCBs from great area. Who's saying robust in the BG, and what does it mean? Robust is a word that was used by Charlie Brown, a lobbyist for CTA, when he was talking about having robust conversations with the legislators behind closed doors that many of the people in my audience thought was akin to him saying that he would bribe them. If you check out my channel, look for a guy named Charlie Brown, particularly the conversation he had with a gentleman named Marco Rios, who is a politician in Washington. Listen to his answers to some really good questions that they asked and how bad they were. Cuomo ended old people to make Trump look bad. No. Cuomo didn't try to murder people. He was just an idiot. I get pissed off at that. He didn't try to kill people. He's just a dumbass. Admittedly, his strategy, again, if I were to be a crazy conspiracy theorist, older people lean Republican, Cuomo's a Democrat. Okay, again, just to be clear, because I know this is going to get quoted out of context by the fuck faces in my comment section. I'm not saying this is what happened. I'm just saying that would make a particularly interesting movie plot line. It's interesting because the Republican Party, and this, I'll say this in jest after I read this. I want to say thanks for being a voice of common sense in this crazy time. God bless. Thank you. I was joking with a friend the other day, and this is pure satire. This is a joke because I know people like to take shit out of context on YouTube because they're assholes. I remember saying something along the lines of, at least Cuomo knows to try and target and kill people from the other political party, whereas a lot of the people in the Republican Party that were spreading skepticism about the vaccine are killing their own voters. Take a book from Cuomo's strategy. At least he tries to get rid of the people from the other political party. Again, that was satire. That was a private joke between someone that I knew that knew that I was kidding. I know I have to explain that like 3 times because people are pricks. Do you find it strange people want you to move to where they live? Do you ever think it would become the embodiment of people just being... You would become the embodiment of just people just being fed up? I think a lot of people that watch, one of the only things I can imagine is that they like the ability that how about this? I think the thing that this channel represents more than anything else is just what's the word I'm looking for? What's the word when you're doing something through somebody else? It's a vicarious middle finger. I think that's what this channel represents for a lot of people. I love listening to your rants and life advice. You've taught me so much. Thank you. Thank you, Martin. Why do people ask about Joe Rogan? He's one of the most uneducated people I've ever seen. I don't know. I'm uneducated. The quartering funded $50, right, to repair. Thank you. The quartering? Holy crap. $50 is a lot. Thank you. I appreciate that. Thank you. Well, A, I'm uneducated as well. I mean, I don't think I'm more educated than Joe Rogan. I barely graduated high school and I flunked out of college. But B, he also has a very large audience, and that's a lot of people that I could get involved in Right to Repair, and the more people that know what Right to Repair is, the better. I'm really not into this whole idea where I need to have consent from 1.6 million people before I speak to someone. I'm not doing that. Every single person here is going to be bitching about whoever I speak to. And if I would speak to nobody if I did that. The guy that has a massive pee-pee donated $5 to say these nuts. Or these nuts. All right? I think I answered that one. Find a refurbished set of SE425s. Good cable, quality earphones. Stop spamming. Breathe the Soul reference here, some cash, sir. From San Francisco Bay Area, unlike my Cupertino neighbor to the south, I do not get moist. You should get moist. Why does Streamlabs keep repeating donations? It was probably programmed by Paul Daniels. Got out of my Cliffside Park, New Jersey house and working downtown. Moved to Scottsdale. It's dope sauce. The economy is great here. Cliffside Park is a really nice neighborhood in Jersey. Right under Fort Lee. I have an employee that lives there. It's a great place. It's just too fucking expensive. I think I read this one. I genuinely wonder how this vaccine mandate would be viewed through the lens of critical race theory. I do. Use de Blasio's progressivism against him. It's like when Superman is shooting you with those lasers from his eyes. Imagine if you just held up a mirror. Just hold up a mirror. Love to see de Blasio just get punched in the face with this. Oh, man. Is state legislation a better route for right to repair than federal action? Federal politics is so partisan that it risks killing any initiative. State legislation, well, typically a lot of consumer protection legislation does occur at the state level, but also it's easier to get something done at the state level because the federal level is a clusterfuck. It says Kiki experiment with some reprehensible shit. Dude, there's a lot of fucked up shit that happened. And dude, I'm not blaming minorities that are skeptical of getting the fucking vaccine. Like, I'm not blaming them in any way, shape, or form. I'm just saying that that's what I've experienced from the people that I've spoken to. And yes, that's anecdotal. I didn't do a giant scientific survey of it. It's just the people that I know. Like, I'm not gonna blame them for that shit. There's history behind it. Had the same issue with university, couldn't focus or study on things. I think I read that one already. Streamlabs is doing something strange. I've had a lot of black patients be vaccine hesitant. After taking time to have open conversation, most make the choice to take it. Yeah, the one question that I asked my friend, your answer philosophy have taught me so much, thank you. I asked him two questions. A, when you go to Walgreens, do you think that pharmacist is going to give you a different vaccine than they give me? Do you think they have like a separate set of doses for you than me? And B, do you think I would have gotten it if I thought it was going to kill me? And C, like, if they have a separate set of vaccines for you versus me, do you think that at some point in our current society where we are noticing inequity and racism as much as we are and trying to get rid of it, that don't you think someone would have leaked that to the news media at some point? Like, I tried to not be condescending, and I tried to have it be a real back-and-forth conversation. Did you factor potential unknown long-term effects of the vaccine into your decision, such as antibody-dependent enhancement? A lot of the people that said it's experimental, this has been something that they've been working on for a particularly long time, to my understanding, ever since the original SARS breakout. It's not something that like they just pulled out of their ass 3 months ago because Trump said he wants the stock market to go up. Hope you and the kiddies enjoyed the gifts. The coder, thank you very much. He has enjoyed it. Yes. Thank you. For some reason, one of my staff members threw out that little Amazon barcode that allows me to respond to it, but I got it. Thank you very much. Lewis is officially 15 minutes behind in chat. Yes, I am, unfortunately. Favorite dog breed? I'm going to lose all my subscribers from this one. Pomeranian. They're so cute. One of the guys that gave me my first business loan had a little Pomeranian named Chanel. She was so fucking loud. She pissed everybody off. She was tiny and loud and excited. But I loved it. She was so cute. There's something that it's weird, and I think this probably affects my dating decisions, where I find cute things that are incredibly aggravating to everybody else adorable, and it's probably my own personality disorder that leads to that being the case. Everybody couldn't stand Chanel, but I love Chanel. I think I read that already, but it's showing up again on here. Ever thought about Michigan? No. Gretchen Whitmer. This aisle of the store is essential. This aisle is not. No, I'm not. No, like you were able to get away with that. If you got away with that and the person who did that did not immediately get removed from office, then I'm not interested in moving there. I lived through that. I'm not. No. I've had enough of that. What's your thought on Linux phones? Long way to go. Oreo is best kitten. JP, I typically agree with you, but Mr. Clinton is actually best kitten. Do you enjoy studying history? If so, what's your favorite time? Helps predict the future in a way. It could be helpful. I don't have a favorite time in history. I read about history. I wouldn't say I study history. Cheers for the de Blasio video. I wholeheartedly agree with your choice to be an individual. My eyesight severely degraded in one eye after a tetanus booster shot, hence why I won't be in line for this. I'm sorry to hear that. Holy crap, that was 200 Mexican dollars. You were once a laptop repair facility. Now my eyes, at least you're one of the most influential and right-to-repair activists that are in it too. Love you, bro. Thank you, 2006 Gucci. He didn't try to kill them, he just did. Yeah, again, like, I don't like Cuomo. I really don't. But I'm not going to say that he actually willingly murdered those people. That was just being an idiot. Like, I've killed computer motherboards before. I wasn't trying to kill them, you know. I was trying to help them. Sometimes that's actually scarier than trying to kill them. I also have to figure out how to make those messages show up longer. They disappear way too quickly. Hello, hey, and thank you. You know more about politics and how wasteful and incompetent it is than all of us. No, I don't. I don't think so. I don't assume I know more than you. How do we fight vaccine passports? Do we just lie down and take it? By the way, never become an actual politician. You will lose your integrity. If you wanted to, then just don't obey it. Like, that's the only way that you're going to change something if that's what you want to do. Ethereum is the future. We'll see, Michael Scott. Lewis, you're doing great. Thanks again. Wrote to the Nebraska Senator today. Anxious for reply. Please recommend an Android phone. Pixel 1 XL repair shop that operates you do for Apple Gear. All local shops you break I fix are not interested. I don't know. Fixing Android phones kind of sucks. I mean, I tried it for a while back in the day, and getting parts of them was annoying, and opening them was annoying, and every one of them is put together differently, and it's very easy to break them as you open it. And a lot of the Android phones you open, you may never see again because there's so many of them. I used to use JM Wireless. I think they're on 244 Grand Street. I'm not sure if they're still open. 244 Grand Street, JM Wireless. There's a guy named Eric that works there, but I haven't checked in on him in a long time. Any new thoughts on the Framework laptop? Now it's been out for a bit. It hasn't been out. You can't. If the earliest I can get it, if I buy the top model, is in I think late August, so I'm not able to get it yet. I appreciate that they actually are real about right to repair and they're not just virtue signaling about it. I like that they're making schematics available. They put their money where their mouth is. Regarding COVID, someone like me with asthma or respiratory ailment finds it to be a scarier concept. Irritating to find people not take it seriously and this vulnerable are put in risk of public. Yeah, I feel bad about that. And I took as many precautions as I could to avoid being around people I didn't need to be around, wear a mask when I'm outdoors before I got the vaccine, get the vaccine. The one thing I wasn't willing to do was shut down my business. Like, that was it. I wasn't willing to do that. I'm not bankrupting myself for it. If that makes me a piece of shit, then I will accept the label of a piece of shit. You know, I worked at this for 13 years. I have infinite grays from it. I gave up my 20s for it. I wasn't willing to have that be destroyed. And if that makes me a piece of shit, then I will have to live with my decision. But I do feel bad for people that have those pre-existing conditions, and I did do my best to take in again. Like I wasn't going to parties during this. I wasn't going running during the day during this. I wasn't like I changed a good amount of things about my life and how my store was run to try to avoid people as much as I can, because I understood that it was a concern. And I had no problem wearing masks. It was like the least I could do. But the one thing I wasn't willing to do was give up something I've given up everything else in my life for over the course of 12 or 13 years over it. And I realized that there were people that thought I was a piece of shit, and some of them wrote that down on a piece of paper and stuck it under my door in the beginning of the pandemic. But whatever, Again, it's as I say in all these videos, I'm not a great person. I don't pretend to be. I'll live with it. Bill de Blasio looks like Herman Munster wearing a human costume trying to fit in. Kind of does. What do you think of the 51NB ThinkPad X2100 laptop? I wish projects like this were more widespread. If you're not familiar with it, it might be worth Googling. I'd like to Google it, but the problem is this moment I go to Google it is that I'm going to get another 5 messages, and I won't have any time to actually look at it. So doing research on things that I'm not aware of is insanely difficult to do during these live streams if I'm not already aware that it exists. So let's see, what is this? This looks like a computer. This looks like a really old ThinkPad. I don't know what the mod is. Reincarnation of the X200. Updated specs but retains original design. Okay, that looks cool, but unfortunately I can't. My super chat never showed up. Do you censor? Mine is blowed. I'm kind. I'm not crazy on either side. I don't know. I censor if you're a cunt. Like, there was this one person that asked, do you like right to repair? And I said yes. And then he edited his comment to say, Lewis, are you gay? And he just did that so that my answer would show up as yes, and then he responded, LOL. I banned that guy. Because I was thinking to myself, like, censorship is not a great thing to do, but why the fuck am I allowing this in my comment section? Like, you're a troll. You're a 5-year-old troll. What the fuck am I doing letting you here? Most likely it was Google that did it. I censor bullshit, but it's very rare. I can tell when someone is just going out of their way to troll and be a cunt, and when I see that, by all means, I have no reason to let that in my living room. Ever thought about Michigan? No. Gretchen Whitmer. No. You can shop at this aisle of the store, but not that aisle of the store. No. Wrong direction, Lewis. Wrong direction. This looks pretty cool. But I don't know if I would be excited at the lower resolution screen in 2021. But then again, at least it's the right aspect ratio. I don't think Oreo is best kitten. I have a lot of sympathy for minority vaccine skeptics who are wary of something like the Tuskegee experiment happening again. What I have zero patience for is the folks who think it's a pandemic. Yeah. It's not just that that all that stuff is full of shit. It's that they're really bad at puns. And if anything, that's actually worse than the public health implications of them being full of shit, is how bad they are at puns. Pandemic. How creative, you fuck. I like reading history, but I don't think I study history. The other thing about history is when you see how things are reported now and you see there's 2 or 3 different sides to each story, it makes you wonder, how much of history are we actually getting, and how much of history is just somebody who's powerful's interpretation of history. Now you have self-publishing. Back then you didn't have self-publishing. Now you have millions of different news websites. Back then you had, a couple of newspapers. You know more about... Okay, I think I read that one already. He's especially behind the notification things. Yep. I can't read 40 comments a minute. It's not happening. No competition in the best tacos. I will check out Lake Geneva, Wisconsin if they have good tacos, particularly good burritos. Education is overrated. College does not teach applicable skills. I disagree. Education is not overrated. College is overrated. But education is not. There is a distinction. So you want them to ban minorities that haven't gotten the vaccine yet? No, I don't want them to ban anybody. Why do you straw man? Why do you people straw man? Why? Why put words in my mouth? It's so lame. Maybe they just don't trust an industry responsible for 60 to 250,000 medical error and malpractice deaths a year. Just a thought. Love you. I don't think anybody trusts the pharmaceutical industry, but a lot of people were less, I think, less anti-vaccine before the COVID thing. LOL on the Paul Daniels hate. Paul Daniels says, I heard that. Okay, everything from 11:58 to 12:03 is gone, but because YouTube chat is still not fixed, 7 or 9 years into live streaming. 200 Mexican dollars is 10 US dollars. Shit. If we listen to all these politicians, we will be stuck in an endless loop with this whole pandemic. It will never end if we keep listening to them. I tend to lean towards agreeing with you there. Not in full, but I understand what you're getting at. I think what a lot of them are aiming for is close to zero COVID, and I don't think that's going to happen. Hi, Lewis. I relate to your way of thinking so much. Thank you, Armada. But don't think for yourself. Don't think the way I think. Hi, from Papua New Guinea. Love your show and important work. Best wishes on your potential move to a new state. Thank you. I worry that they will try to ban gas cars in general if they don't stop the creation of new gas cars soon. Any input? Wears on my mind greatly. Why is this a worry, though? Family works in nursing homes. Cuomo stopped separation of COVID prints and all people forced mixing and prevented people from being asked about COVID at admittance. I don't think that's because he wanted to murder old people. I think that's because he's a fucking idiot that doesn't know how to run a state. I don't think they're going to stop the creation of gas cars until they solve the financial problem. Although maybe they'll see it as a good thing, that if only rich people can drive, then that means less people will drive. And if less people can drive, then that means there'll be less emissions. So maybe that's the way that they get to lower emissions, just by making it really expensive and then building a public transportation infrastructure. I mean, that would be an interesting way to try to get people to stop driving. It's probably going to meet a lot of pushback and be a giant culture war, which is very sad. Just want to say I'm a huge fan of your stuff. And to keep it up, bummer, New York City isn't a great place for business anymore. It is what it is. Thank you. I used to be a manager at the Movie EQ rental house up on the street from you. Movie EQ. I don't know what Movie EQ. Oh, now I know what that is. I haven't heard from my boss since the pandemic. What's your opinion of their operation? I barely know what that is. I know there's a place that has some like camera equipment and shit like that. But I don't know anything about them. I don't really visit. I ride my bike to my store. I go in my store. I leave. I work. I leave, and I go home. Boston mayor attacked New York City on mass. Check it out. I did. I saw. And they said this is like, the whole show me your papers thing was typically used against marginalized people and all that. And I mean, again, as I said 20 minutes ago, if you view de Blasio's mandate through the lens of critical race theory, it will disproportionately affect minorities because minorities are less vaccinated. And they're less vaccinated because I imagine they are looking at what we've done to them in the past and said, fuck that, you're not sticking anything in me. I think I read that about 20 minutes ago, but that comment showed up very late. Feed Oreo, says Harry M. Oreo eats enough. He's so fucking fat he doesn't have a neck. I can't feed him more. How profitable is live streaming versus your other primary sources of income? That's a good question. I haven't live streamed regularly and since like 2018 or 19 or so, or done these AMAs. I don't know. I mean, like every night is not this night. Like this night is crazy. People are literally just throwing money at you. But like the way this works is you do like 1 or 2 or 3 live streams, and after it, then it kind of fizzles out. I was doing them every day at one point just for fun, for board repair stuff. Would you ever consider an iPhone? If so, under what conditions? A micro SD card slot, a headphone jack, a standardized charging port, the ability to show up as a mass storage device if I so please, and the ability to install any application without jailbreaking it. It's not consistent. Like, it's not like this is a particularly consistent form of income. What do you think of the... I think it's cool. I wish those things were more widespread, but the problem is that it's going to be a very niche product, which means there's not going to be a lot of support for it, which means there's not going to be a lot of people who want it, which means it's going to be expensive. I wish stuff like that were more popular, though. If you listen to all these... I think I read that one already. It's just this is behind. Do rights to repair get passed in any state? Not yet. You put me in timeout for asking about Clinton twice? Oh, no. I put someone in timeout because they repeated something in all caps that had nothing to do with the cat. Oh, now you're... Okay, now you're just crying over something I didn't actually do. Bye-bye. Yeah, I didn't... No. Someone was spamming. They copied and pasted something in all caps 3 times. I don't even think that was you. I don't remember who it was because in YouTube you literally can't scroll up. But you're crying in my chat, so I don't need that. Bye-bye. Now you have something to really cry about. Except I can't hear it anymore. Hi from Papua New Guinea. Thank you. Let's see. I don't know why it's like such an issue. I think by the time they ban gas cars, electric cars will be much more affordable. It's going to take a while before they do that. They skipped the human trials for the mRNA vaccine because in the animal trials they kept dying. Dr. Malone, the inventor of mRNA, talked about this and he's worried about the vaccine. I'm not an epidemiologist, so I have no fucking clue about any of that. I am not an animal, though. I used to be a manager at the movie EQ Rental House. Oh. I really don't know their operation, and I feel bad because you sent me $10 to answer a question that I have no ability to answer. My worry is if people resist vaccinated passports, only the businesses will be affected, not the people in power. The economic effect will be chalked up to anti-vax or COVID concern. I don't think that's what's going to happen. I think it's just going to wind up meaning that more online businesses or more business for the DoorDash types, it's just going to accelerate this move towards mail-in business or DoorDash kind of business and move away from the model that we have right now. And it'll kill retail even more than retail has already been destroyed. I mean, it's not, again, if you just walk down the streets in Manhattan, like retail already got fucking destroyed over the past several years. And this was starting before COVID. The one good medic said throwing money at you again. Holy crap, I don't deserve $50. CDC stated a few days ago, vaccinators spread Delta as much as non-vax do. Same viral load regardless. These New York City mandates make no sense. The idea, I think, there is that the virus is less likely to mutate into a more strong, evil, crazier version of COVID if you're vaccinated. Whether that winds up being the case, I don't know, but that appears to be the thought process behind it. It's not consistent, Aaron. My other forms of income are very consistent. Except for when the mayor and the governor are destroying business in the city. For a guy so smart, you trust Big Daddy? Virtually every comment I get saying, I thought you were smart, or for someone smart, they usually wind up being really stupid comments. And this has not changed that pattern at all. I'm sorry I haven't kept it going. Is right to repair outlawed? I haven't seen too many videos in your channel anymore about fixing electronics. Right to repair is not outlawed. I don't know. I mean, I'm still able to talk about it. I don't understand. What is your definition of the word outlawed? I think what you mean is you haven't fixed anything, so that means fixing is outlawed. No, it doesn't. It means that my staff is doing the repairs now rather than me. It was always a part of my game plan to stop doing repairs. I lasted way longer than I ever imagined that I'd be able to last, but I have them do it now for the good of the reputation of my company and for the good of my customers' devices. Love from India. Thank you very much. I got way further than I ever imagined I would have been able to get. And I'm happy. I had a very good run. I think I read that one already. Okay, every comment from 12:11 through 12:14 is gone because YouTube chat sucks, and we will continue on. COVID seems... Let's see what we have here. David Bet said $10 gas is coming in 24 months. Did he put his money where his mouth is? Something. None of these people put their money where their mouth is. think I read that one already. When are you going to read my 100 Mexican dollars worth of super chat? I think I just did, but if I didn't, please copy and paste it into the normal chat and I will get to it. I apologize if I'm behind. I believe I read both of your comments, but if I did miss your comment, please do copy and paste it and I will read it immediately. Well, not immediately because I'm 7 minutes behind in the normal chat. Fuck. Would you fix a laptop infested with cockroaches or return it to the customer? I would return it to the customer. At the beginning of my business, I probably would have fixed it, but now I'm at the point where I'm settled well enough into life where I'm just not going to torture myself with a device filled with cockroaches. It's just not worth it to me. Have you ever... I'm not going to torture my staff with that either. Fuck that. Have you ever pondered the idea of manufacturing your own devices? If you have, what are your thoughts? I haven't because I'm not an engineer and I'm not very smart and I don't think I'd be a good designer. Also, would you be willing or not willing? It's not about willing, it's about capable. I would probably be as good at designing devices as Cuomo is at handling a pandemic when dealing with the elderly. I just joined the streams. What's going on with Cuomo? Cuomo seems to be on his way out of here. My name is also Lewis. History is written by the victor always. And it's also written by the Lewises. You have a quality name, my friend. Has right to repair been passed in Illinois? Hasn't been passed anywhere in the United States, so that's a no to that. How do you tell Clinton and BlackBerry apart? See, that's the kind of comment that I would ban. Can you insert a Greta Thunberg, how dare you here? How dare you? How dare you? My girlfriend and I enjoy watching border pair videos. It's therapeutic, and I personally have been enjoying the New York City Urban Decay videos. Thank you. Well, there's a good 600 of them, so even though I haven't been doing them anymore, you got a good 600 left to watch, and thank you. We need more users and contributors to... I gotta figure out why those comments don't show up for very long. I gotta change that. I always say I'm gonna change it, and then I forget. When Rights Repair asks, how do you think schematics reports would be available? Just the public access and manufacturer's website, a subscription, some form request to prove that you're into repair. I think it would be public access because the bill as it exists does not say that they would be billed for. But I'd be happy to pay for them. It's just the current legislation says that hardware would be paid for, but that wouldn't. With the current pandemic going on, are you planning on going to different states and educating politicians? Are you extending your car warranty again? Yes, I fully plan on going to every state and talking to them about their car's extended warranty. There's got to be a lot of good money in that for them to constantly spam you. Spyrate says NB, odd. We need more users and contributors. Promote PinePhone is a long way to go. I tried a PinePhone a year ago, and it kind of tortured me. I'm hoping that it gets better. I really am. I'm rooting for those people. I want to see PinePhones get better. I'll try a new one. Should I try a new one? Is there a new one? Jay donated $5. Love it. Thank you. Andrew Yang brought the concept up out of the blue in his campaign, but how would you feel about New York City raising taxes on vacant lots and rent? You're attacking that problem from the wrong end. If you raise taxes on vacant lots or rent, then you wind up either A, forcing them to rent it at a lower price, which will mean that the building will be valued at a lower price, which means the landlord winds up giving up the building, which causes the real estate market to crash, which means that New York City gets less tax revenue. So what you need to do is you need to first solve the problem that we have an $80 billion budget. You need to lower that shit to like 60 because the real estate market needs to crash so that, and the city gets $35 to $40 billion from property tax. So you have to do that first before you do that, or else you're going to have a cascading failure. If Apple ever releases implants, will they label the doctor's office as an unauthorized repair shop? Probably. I'm scared shitless of the idea of them releasing a car. I actually think they could outfail Tesla. But yeah, I forget what I was just talking about. So the only reason that we're able to collect $40 billion in property tax in New York City is because we have all these bullshit buildings that are overvalued. They're overvalued because the people who buy them and rank them up. Thank you, AP. They rank them up in price. So when they get the loan, they claim that the building is worth way more than it is, and they use the building as collateral for their loan so that they can get and so if the building gets marked down, now the bank is going to want way more collateral for the loan because the building was the collateral for the loan, which means that the person who purchased the building is then going to have to pay an amount that they don't have, which means they will default on their loan. That will crash the commercial real estate market. Now, there's nobody that wants to see the commercial real estate market in New York City crash more than me. But before that happens, you need to take into account that you are going to lose billions and billions of property tax revenue, and you need to plan for it before you implement that policy. Phoenix, Arizona isn't too bad. The 115-degree summers aren't too bad. It's a dry heat. I don't like extreme heat. Hi, Lewis. I respect you. Keep up the hard work. Thank you, Brenton. What are your thoughts on moving to Washington or Seattle? Seattle. After the last year and a half that I went through, you want me to move to Seattle. After boarding up my windows and attaching a truck air horn to a power supply, to a relay, to a computer that I had remote desktop on, so every time I got an alert on my phone, I could ring a 400-watt air horn and pray that the person who was smashing on the store was not breaking into it because they heard an air horn and were scared away. You want me to go to Seattle. If I'm going to move, I'm going to move somewhere where I don't have to deal with insane traffic, where things aren't insanely expensive, and where I don't have to deal with a chopped chaz. Or I will just stay put. Hi, Lewis. I think I read that one already. I just joined the stream. What's going on with Cuomo? Also, you a fan of Spider-Man movies? I saw one Spider-Man movie, and that was it. I liked it. But what's happening with Cuomo is he is on his way out. And I'm happy to see that he's on his way out. Spy rate said MBOH. I don't know what that means. I really have no idea what that means. It's pretty crazy what they're doing here in New York. The president asked him to resign. What's crazy is you have to protect yourself from the government now. Huh. I don't know what you mean by that. You have to be specific. Throwing money at you again. That's way too much money, man. Okay. Everything from 1220 through 1221 is gone. Will cat turd ever meet Mr. Clinton? Huh? I don't understand that question. That's a very strange question. Right to repair guys casually okay with people's cars being banned. Jesus. Incorrect. You said, does it bother me that they would not manufacture gas cars anymore? You are being a straw manner. CDC stated a few years ago that vaccinated spread Delta as much as non-vax do. Same viral load regardless. These anti-humanists make no sense. I think I read that one already. If they stop producing CRT monitors, that doesn't mean that they're banning you from using your existing ones. Don't be so disingenuous. It's disgusting. I've seen you do that 2 other times in this chat, and it's you. Okay. Let's see. What else do we have here? Thank you, Brenton. Lewis is a good employer, you can tell. No, Lewis is not a good employer. Do not get the idea that I'm a good employer. What is next after right to repair? I can't tell you because if I tell you, they're going to come after me. I'm dead serious about that. I'm not kidding. I'm not kidding. But yeah, I do have a project after right to repair. But what I've told myself is I need to prove to myself that I have the ability to actually get something done against... I need to be able to slay the small dragon before I slay the large dragon. You can't fight Necron until you kill Kuja. And I haven't even wounded Kuja yet, so I definitely can't fight Necron. But there is a boss after Kuja, and I do have something that I fully plan on going ahead, full steam ahead with. What are your thoughts on moving to? Oh yeah, no, $3,000 a month studio, no. Insane traffic, no. Having to board up my window, no. I live in New York already. I don't want to move to the other one. Should CNN fire Chris Cuomo? I don't know. I don't watch enough CNN to know. How do you find a good lobbyist? What I do is I call them, and my job interview process is to ask them, I ask them questions based on the people in the state, and who do you think will and won't support this, and then I compare it to the testimony that I've seen them give. And what I do is when it comes to right to repair, if I know more than the lobbyist, I don't hire them. And I've noticed that there's no correlation between price and quality when it comes to lobbyists. There's a pendulum, and I'm going to probably make a video explaining the pendulum at some point of capability and price. People start out really cheap, but they want people to know who they are. They want to build a name for themselves, so they bust their ass, and they're really good and they're really cheap, right? But in the beginning, you're even cheaper than that because you suck. Nobody knows who you are. Then you get really good, but you're still cheap because you want more people to know who you are. Then you become a bit more expensive because you're getting filled with work and everybody knows that you're already good at your job. Then you get to a point where you have so much work that you need less customers, and you were so good at what you did that people are willing to pay a premium. And then you kind of stop caring because you have 100 customers in front of you. You can only take 20, so you're always gonna have a customer. So you don't really have to care much about what you do, and then you start to suck. It's kind of like a pendulum. Tips on how to store Macs without fucking them up. The shelves at your store look awesome. Were they custom made? They were custom made. Yeah, it was a wooden shelf. It was a wooden shelf treated with something to... The biggest issue is you can't zing things. You can't zing things. So when you put the machines in the shelf, you need to listen as you're putting it down. If you put it down, you hear... Don't move it. Because whatever piece of salt or debris is in that shelf, it hasn't scratched it yet, but if you move it, it'll scratch it. Yeah, having them in separate slots is a big important one. Why have you left New York by now? I need to find a place to go to, but also I have 13 employees here in a specialized industry. Have you read about Linus Framework Laptop Company Invest? Yeah, I talked about that in the beginning of the stream. Let's see. What else do we have here? Have any tips on how to fix electronics for newbies? Yes, I have 600 videos on how to fix electronics for newbies. Check them out. Go to the playlist section of my channel. Also, one of the things you'll find on the playlist section of my channel, in addition to those videos, is MacBook component level logic board repair playlist. You'll also find in the description a 150-page presentation that goes over basic electronics, basic troubleshooting, and all of that stuff. So I put together that guide and I open sourced it. It's freely available to anybody who wants to learn. So I'll just go over this here. So let me find one of my own videos. Cuomo can put tens of thousands of sick narcs home. It takes a few women to be upset to bring him down. Honestly, the women were upset for a really long time, to be fair. Like, a lot of the shit that came out about his wife, like, that was a long time ago. And so women have been bitching about Cuomo for quite a while. It's kind of like all the things happening at the same time. Okay, where is this guide? I used to have a guide here. Here we go. So let's say I have videos like this. No, wrong button. So like on this video, if you scroll down in the description of this board repair video, of which I have 600, son of a bitch. How is Clinton doing? He's quality content I look for. He's not here. He left. He's gone. And I also have to figure out a way how to make this show up on this page. How do I make that show up on this page so that I don't get caught off guard again? Shit. Fuck. Where is it? Here we go. Browser source. Bada bing. There we go. So once you click onto learn how to do this beginner's guide, you'll get this. About 150-page training guide. It's all free. It's all free. It's all free. And I even have pictures and shit in there. You want to see how DC to DC boost circuit works. I even got nice sexy pictures. Shows you how everything goes. Try to make it really simple. Thank you, Flame Solus. I appreciate it. Come to Allentown, Pennsylvania. I'll work for you then. I had an employee from Allentown a long time ago. Love your take. Thank you. Keep it up. Thank you, Zerk. But Lewis, Seattle was peaceful protest. CNN said so. Yes, and Jeffrey Dahmer was mostly peaceful the night that he killed people. Sure, the rest of that day he was very peaceful. No. No. I repeat, do not come to Virginia. I don't understand why no Virginia. I visited. It wasn't that bad when I went. I only stopped through for a short period. When will Project Airhorn finally happen? I had to find a place on my current bike for it. Come to Chattanooga. I don't know about Chattanooga. I asked one of my best friends who grew up in Knoxville and Johnson City, Tennessee, and he said that Chattanooga was like Knoxville with less to do and way more crime and drugs and meth. I don't know. He didn't like Tennessee, so I don't know if he was the right person to ask. Dallas would love you. I live in Houston. If you didn't like Florida heat, you wouldn't like it here. Brad, for some reason, I thought you lived in Florida, Brad Haynes. But, okay, you live in Dallas. Or, no, you live in Houston. I will hit you up if I visit Houston and do a meetup there. What's your take on Chicago deep dish versus New York pizza? I don't care about the pizza wars, honestly. I don't like pizza very much. Lots of empty carbs without a lot of nutrition. Empty carbs without enough nutrition. Do you know what's in the vaccine? Authentic Amtech Flux. Fuck. Now I'm finally going to get banned for COVID misinformation. Do I know what's in the vaccine? No. Do I know what's in most of my vitamins? Not really. I don't know. I fix MacBooks. I don't even know what's in the Flux that I use. Would like to hear your thoughts on intellectual property and trade secret law. Check out O'Reilly Label's paper, The Cognitive Cartel. Stephen Kinsella has a really good book on intellectual property. It's been a long time since I read that book, but Stephen Kinsella has a good book on intellectual property. No new Pine phone hardware is good, software isn't coming. When you open the camera on a Pine phone, it takes like 5 seconds and then it lags like crazy. It's a very interesting phone. When moving to New Hampshire, close to Boston, no income or sales tax. New Hampshire has property tax of over 2%, which is really strange for a state where a lot of people have bumper stickers saying, live free. I don't know about... there may be other areas, other things about New Hampshire that are great, but the 2% property tax kind of puts me off. If you research Chattanooga, you might find it's a good fit for you and your business. Maybe I'll visit. I don't know. My friend from Tennessee was trying to tell me avoid Chattanooga. But he prefers New York to Tennessee. I don't know. We're opposites in many ways, so maybe I would like Chattanooga, but I don't know. I'd have to visit it and see. What does your girlfriend think about marriage? You spoke before on it. That's for her to say. If she wants to talk about that on her channel, she can. Her channel is youtube.com/Cinevision. CINNAVISION. Loner weirdo? I think it's both. For me, most of the people in my family who were like the old school Italian from San Benedetto that came here in the 50s, that were born in the 1910s and 20s, they were all very like, run up to you, grab your cheeks, give you these giant kisses and these really large hugs for everything. And it was always kind of weird to the kids, and the next generation didn't do that. I see Cuomo do that, but the main thing is that it's not just all that. That's a very small part of it. There's the fact that demographic and that culture really just is not a part of the city anymore. But simultaneously, he's an authoritarian cunt. And I think a big part of it is the fact that he's an authoritarian cunt and that he treats people like shit and that people are sick of it, so that when he finally does get in trouble for something, there's nobody there willing to defend him. And, again, it couldn't happen to a nicer guy. Nanstorm says come to Austin. I'll check out Austin, but the problem with Austin is not only high property tax, but it's a very expensive city. My Body, My Choice morphed into big money for Big Pharma. It's very interesting. My Body, My Choice. And the interesting thing is that typically people who are against the My Body, My Choice argument for abortion say it's not just about your body and your choice, it's about the baby's choice. And here, when somebody says My Body, My Choice about the vaccine, the people who are pro-life, who are Members of the party, no, I have not considered Massachusetts. No, too expensive. The people who are members of the party that are typically pro-choice rather than pro-life, that are being pro-life on the vaccine but pro-choice when it comes to abortion, say, no, it's not just your choice, it's the choice of the other people around you that you may get infected. Which is ironic, because that's typically the argument of people who are pro-life. It's not just your choice because you're also killing a kid, or, a would-be kid. So it's very interesting how this whole thing comes around full circle in a really perverted way. Commercial realtor here. You're right 95% of the time. By the way, look for vehicle traffic in Florida, not foot traffic. Also reach out to Mayor Suarez on Twitter. He's interested in talking to you. Who's Mayor Suarez? I'm going to write that down. Mayor... Who is that? I will Google that later. Do you ever recommend a list of books that help you? General inspirational, not repair electronics. Jim Camp, Start With No. Must read. For anybody who watches this channel. Jim Camp, Start With No. What are your thoughts on Missouri? Never been to Missouri. I went to Olathe, Kansas once, but I haven't been to Missouri. Oh yeah, for anybody else who wanted a link to that how-to guide, if you want to learn how to do this stuff, read this. You'll learn a lot. I don't know if my message went through. Come to New Hampshire. 2% property tax. Ugh. No, I want to own a home someday. I don't want the government to own my home. Listen, I appreciate that the government may respect my rights with a lot of other stuff, but here's the thing. Home prices do this over time, right? They do this. So if you're taxing me 2% on the value of my home, and my home keeps going up in value, but I lose income over time because I get older or my business fails or something like that, I have to pay a larger amount each year, even if I lose all my income. So I'm not into the whole 2% property tax thing. It's a club I want to avoid. Watch your how to do what I do video and felt it. I'm at the stage where I don't go to college and looking for my place in the world. You're my role model. Please find a better role model. I am not a good role model because I'm not a great person, but I'm glad that you got something out of that video. And I hope you are able to learn how to do something. Do you think Joe Biden is doing a good job as president? Too early to see, really. You can't really tell until you see the outcome. Move to Nashville, says Dan Larkin. It's a very expensive area. I'd love to visit. I visited once in 2017 for lobbying, but I was looking at it in terms of moving, and yeah, it's very expensive. Chattahoochee? What? Never know how much I don't know what that means. Do you think New York City, what is the end game with the New York City mandate? Do you think businesses will collapse because of worker fatigue, or will this work out? I mean, if the businesses collapse here, it's not going to be just because of this. That's not going to be it. It's going to be insanely high rent for a very long period of time, combined with a dwindling customer base that would cause the businesses to leave. Rent is the biggest issue here, by far. Rent and cost of living over all else. How would you handle equipment dealers' ability to make money back on factory training with repair and challenge of lease equipment? I don't know what you mean by challenge of lease equipment. So when it comes to challenge of lease equipment, I don't know what that challenge is. In terms of an equipment dealer's ability to make money back on factory training with repair, offer repair services that are not a fucking ripoff. Offer repairs that are not a ripoff. Don't tell people it's $2,000 because they have a bent pin in their display cable. Listen, if you're a dealer and you're not able to make money on repair if other people are repairing things, it sounds like you suck. And that's a big part of the problem when it comes to independent repair. How old is Mr. Clinton? He's turning 12 next month. He's an old cat. He was born in around September of 2009. How old is Mr. Clinton? How come I never see your other cats in your chair arm? Oreo is afraid. Also, Oreo can barely jump. He's far too fat to be able to jump. Blackberry, she very rarely comes up here. She comes to see me when I'm sleeping, and she also stares at me from places, but she very rarely jumps on the arm of the chair. She used to come up here when I had the large couch over here, but she started to feel less comfortable. Blackberry is a very skittish cat compared to Mr. Clinton. She's very skittish, so she doesn't come by on this chair because it rocks. But she definitely... Pine phone, let's meet when in Nebraska. Consider alternative to YouTube stream. Consider assistant to read chat. Consider a different format. Let me know if it can help. I don't want to have an assistant to read a stream. That's weird. I don't know. Consider a different format. Consider not YouTube. You want me to change everything. You literally want me to change everything. I don't want to change everything. This works. I just like watching the greatest country in the world burn. That's kind of, I don't know, that's kind of mean. But then again, your username speaks for itself. Thank you for the $5 Australian. I'll consider a Pine phone, but if it's the same hardware, I don't know. Don't like pizza? Unsubscribe. Unsubscribe. I grew up in Florida. Commented on the critters in your video when you visited. You likely remember that. Oh, cool, Brad. I remember your comments, Brad. I read them. You're one of the people that I recognize based on the name. Ever been to Colorado in thoughts? I have never been to Colorado. The only thing I know about Colorado is what I see from South Park. And what I saw in that documentary about Chris Watts. The most I've ever seen about Colorado is watching that documentary on Chris Watts. That was an interesting documentary. I'm a business owner of a small shop in Sweden with 7 employees. Really appreciate your views and owners. Where to find? Move location to start a pandemic. Same blow up rents here. That's sad. If you go and check out Brownsville at El Paso, we're better. Oh shit, okay. Looks like we got a fight in the thumb. We got a fight in the chat. The pandemic conspiracy is pointless. I agree. Still, most concerning is the possibility that the elites may only want extensions to restriction length and scope to further amplify their profits, just being made to the COVID crisis and not for just one life. Yeah, you could tell that there are certain companies that benefited from it. Like, again, if you look at the stock of any major tech company or Zoom, like, I get where they're coming from with that. Suarez is the mayor of Miami. Last December, he somewhat famously tweeted, "How can I help?" when someone mentioned moving a business there. Very pro-business, pro-tech, spends half the day recruiting. Does he actually want to talk to me, or did he just tweet, "How can I help?" in general? Because I visited Miami. I did a live stream from downtown Miami, and that shit looked like it was dead. If you were dictator of New York, what would you do? The first thing I would do is I would hold an election for the governor, because I'm not a fucking dictator, and nobody should be a dictator. Let me link you to a video. Miami was a ghost town. I could not imagine moving here. Like, this was dead as can be. This actually looked worse than New York. Downtown Miami actually looked crappier than New York. I shit you not. Yeah, I'm going to link the video in the chat so you guys can see. I'm not making this up. But yeah, I'd be happy to talk to him. I'd be happy to talk to anybody. Almost anybody. Maybe almost anybody. What are your thoughts on Cuomo? I wouldn't call him a homo because that's insulting to gay people. I would not insult gay people by comparing them to Andrew Cuomo, and I really don't have any problems with gay people. Like, by all means, let them do them. I think that Cuomo is an asshole. I think he acts like a dictator. I think he punches down as often as he can, and I think he's getting his just desert for it. Cuomo just needs to go, period, says Josh. I agree. Have you ever been to Atlanta? And if so, what do you think, and what have you done there? I've never been to Georgia before. I've driven through Georgia on my way to Florida, and that's about it. Actually, no, I take it back. I went to a Subway in Georgia. I didn't spend enough time there. I don't think I'd go to Atlanta because I get some New York City vibes from Atlanta in terms of it being really expensive and all that stuff. What do you think about Alberta, Canada, opening its economy all the way back up and dropping all COVID-19 requirements despite not having the Delta yet? How about this? Is that what the people there want? Is that what the people of that area want? If it's what the people of that area want, then go for it. Listen, we've had different flavors of COVID restrictions for 15 months now. At some point, you have to get back to living your life. And I also don't know how vaccination has gone in Canada. Why don't people see value in growing the whole pie? I think people are very short-sighted, and they want to focus on grabbing as much for themselves as possible, and they're scared if other people get some that maybe they won't get as much. And that's what frustrates me when it came to teaching people how to do stuff in this business. Like when I release shit like this, and I make it free for everybody to see. The reason I release stuff like that is because I believe that if there are repair shops that exist out there already or better, it will make independent repair look better if more people have good experience with independence. If more people have good experience with independence, more people will go to independence rather than manufacturer, meaning more business for us all. If New York City does off being the largest owner of taxes, would the rest of the country suffer? New York City does pay a lot more in taxes, federal taxes, than it gets back in services. And I do believe that a lot of the reason the rest of the country is able to have what they have is because we in New York City have so little. So A, we get less from the federal government than we pay. That's what pisses me off when people say, oh, look at New York City leeching off the federal government. Fuck you. Like this, look at the amount of federal taxes that people in New York City pay, and look at what we get back from the federal government. We get back way less than we pay in federal taxes. Thank you very much, Cameron. But the other thing is, the only reason that people have space in other sections of the country are because we have no space here. Like people pretend. I get it. How about this? When people start leaving New York City, the rest of the country will become far more expensive because we have so many people that are used to living in places that are this tiny. And the rest of the country, they don't have enough houses. They don't have enough space. I shouldn't say space. They have enough space. They don't have enough housing to fit all the people from New York City if people from New York City left. Ever consider doing a video with Rich Rebuilds? I'd love to be in a video with him. The thing is, he's always in New York City when I'm not here. But also, I admit it, when it comes to collaborations, I just don't know what to fucking do. I don't know what to do. I'm not good at scripting collaborations. Rich's videos are somewhat scripted, and they're fucking funny. Like the video where he goes out with the mom of his Tinder date while he's teaching, like that shit is fucking hysterical. But I can't make scripted content like that. He has a talent that I do not have, and God bless Rich Rebuilds for the quality that he has. You were in Brickell. That's not where the business is. Never has been. Just vanity buildings. Biz in Florida. Congregates are on interstates. Suarez actually engages with people very actively on Twitter. Easy to reach. I'm actually in North Florida, just a fan of Suarez. I will make sure to reach out to him. Good night, Lewis. Get some sleep. Contact me, desmaz.net. Keep up the good fight. Pine4. Desmaz.net. I will add that to my stream notes. So there's the mayor, and there's desmas.net. But I don't want to change my format. I like my format. Danny funded $1.99. I love you. Thank you, Danny. Almost 2 million subscribers, bro. You're making an impact. Awesome work. Keep it up. Do I really? The view count on most of the videos is like 10 or 20K. I don't think I have that many subscribers. I'm 10 minutes behind. Why do you think people keep voting for Andrew Cuomo? Because he has a D next to his name. And independent parties don't have much traction because everybody assumes they're not going to win. So I think it's illegal to vote Republican in New York. I think it's illegal. So he's a Democrat, so he wins. But also the good candidates like Larry Sharpe run on independent parties. And you're not allowed to vote for an independent party because they lose. I think that's what has. I think it's that. Now, why does he win the primary? That's a good question. Why does he win the Democratic primary? Why is there nobody else that wins it? I don't know. I'm sorry, Kirby the Kirby, that your cat passed away. That's horrible. I hate when kitties pass away. There should be a law against kitties passing away. Right for kitties to not pass away. That should be a thing. If government cared. Thoughts on Windows 11 requires 8th generation Intel. I have no reason to upgrade to a new version of Windows, and I probably won't on principle. Why the fuck am I going to give them money for a new version? I could use Windows 7 if I wanted to. All you lose out on really is anti-alias fonts and some pretty stuff. Is Chris Watts the guy that killed his wife? Yes. Horrible liar. Thoughts on Delaware? I visited Bear, Delaware. It was interesting, if not a little dead. They had McMansions that I liked. I love the quality of the McMansions in Delaware. In Bear, Delaware. Why is it illegal to vote for Republican in New York? That was sarcasm. It's not illegal. It's just, I don't know. You're not. I guess it's like voting for a Democrat in Alabama. They'll only do it if the person running is like a child toucher or something. Do we have a real democracy or a two-party dictatorship? Two parties. Ranked choice voting would be a good way to get rid of that, in my opinion. Would you drive a car, a truck, a van, or an SUV? A car. I would only drive a truck if I needed to carry a large load of stuff. But if I wasn't, I would see no reason to drive a van, an SUV, or a truck. If I'm just going around by myself, an e-bike. If I really wanted to, a car. Humanity peaked with Windows 7, downhill ever since. Okay, maybe not humanity, maybe operating systems, but... I just returned from a business trip in Philadelphia. If only you knew how bad Kennington looks. I mean, homeless and meth junkies laying everywhere and nobody cares. That is sad. Where was I? I want to make a note of this. I gotta find where I put my little notepad. Oh shit, wrong notepad. Fuck. Where's my other notepad? Where'd you go? Where'd you go? New York City pays a lot to the federal government because of bank profits. New York City gets tons back from the federal government. It's just that it goes from the Fed to the banks, not from the Treasury to the people. Huh. Because of bank profit. It's not just federal. A lot going because of bank profits. A lot of it is just people's salaries here. The salaries here are higher than they are in a lot of other parts of the country. Why is media trying to cover up that current vaccines are 90% effective to the Delta variant? This is independent research, but they'd rather listen to government research. Lewis, want to get lunch tomorrow? I don't know you, so no. I'm sorry, I feel bad. You gave me $5, but I just don't want to get lunch with somebody that I don't know. I'm not a very social person. Where was I? On the media covering up that thing. Again, I did a video on this. Positive COVID news I wish got more attention. This was actually government... This was government science for the person who said they'd rather listen to government research. This is government research. This was from the UK, and they have a study here that shows that the vaccines were more effective against preventing hospitalization of the Delta variant than others. And I posted this to my channel a month ago because I'm not anti-vaccine, in spite of what the fuck faces in my comments say from time to time. I used to buy broken Game Boys, Game Boy Advances for dirt cheap, but lately I've noticed people want almost full value for those same broken systems. Thoughts on why? I don't know how someone would want full value for a Game Boy Advance. Game Boy Advances, that was a thing in like 2002. That's almost 20 years old now. Maybe it's because it's old or rare. Maybe it's because it's rare. Top 3 kebab sauces. I don't eat kebabs, so I don't know about sauces. I'm sorry. I don't eat kebabs. Fix some main boards on Rich rebuilds his flood Tesla. With what schematic? Didn't COVID happen after Windows 7? Rest my case. You know what? You are right. Political partisanship. Yeah, political partisanship did reach a height after Windows 7. COVID happened after Windows 7. ISIS happened after Windows 7. Okay, you made a point. Lewis, you need to see the rest of the U.S. It's mostly empty. People are packed into New York City because that's where the high-paying jobs are. Yeah, exactly. Yeah, you know, if everybody exits here, there's a lot of empty parts of the country, but a lot of it is empty place without housing. Have you ever tried Linux? Yes, I used Mandrake and Red Hat in 2002. I used Gentoo from 2003 to 2014. I used Debian in 2015, and then in late 2015, I decided to stop torturing myself and went back to using Windows. Okay, you're spamming me, so you get to go. Bye-bye, spammer. Bye-bye. Clinton, you want attention? Jump up here. Thanks for the stream. Some small disagreements on some things, but on rights repair we all agree on. Can't wait to see you on other shows I watch besides yours. Frisco, Texas. Missouri. Show me. Cool. Thank you. Windows 11 is free. No, there's no way. It's not free. They're getting something out of you. No. No, Windows 11 is not free. No, they're getting something out of you if they're giving it to you for free. Will Curtis Lee with Silly Beret cost him the election? I don't think he's a serious candidate. I asked him about an interview, but I haven't gotten any response. I don't think he's a serious candidate. Bought my first e-bike during COVID and use it for going to work an hour away. I want to Bafang swap, but I'm scared I'm going to get fined 25 kilometers an hour limited. Now what's the worst that's going to happen? Depends on where you live. If you see a cop, just start pretending you're pedaling or something. I don't know. Don't ride like a dick and you're fine. I don't have people bothering me on it because I don't. As long as you're not riding like a dick, like going the wrong way down the road or just smashing into pedestrians or playing chicken with cars, they leave you alone. It's mostly the Grubhub delivery people that go that salmon the wrong way down the lane, that play chicken with people at red lights that wind up getting tickets or confiscated. For the Clinton Treat Fund. Clinton, someone gave you $4.99 for a treat. You hear that? But I'm not going to give you a treat. I'm going to embezzle that money. Yes, I'm going to give you a pet that's free instead of a greenie that costs money because I don't want to get up. Yes. The United States is not a democracy, it's a constitutional republic, says our Carrie. Did you know that it's not Linux, it's actually GNU/Linux, and what you're referring to as Linux, the operating system, is actually just a kernel? You pedantic bastard. I have never used a Huawei or Xiaomi phone, MKazU. When I was looking for a phone, I wanted something that was small and fit in my head, and I did not find that from Xiaomi and Huawei, so I didn't get one. Who do you feel about Eric Adams? Who do you think would have won the primary before the results? I thought Eric Adams, he made that comment that I travel with a gun. I would travel with a gun in New York City if it was me. We have to face this. This is a serious problem. But he's also simultaneously, A, he's black, and B, he was a policeman before. So I mean, like, it's one of those thoughts on crypto. I think it's a consensual Ponzi scheme. I've described this in many other videos, and it winds up devolving into a 20 minutes of people saying I'm a boomer, just because I disagree with them in spite of me understanding crypto. But so that's going to be derailed for Minter 20 minutes. What was it? With Eric Adams, I mean, he fits perfectly because he has the story behind him that he has suffered harassment or abuse at the hands of the police, but simultaneously he also was a policeman and he acknowledges that crime was on the rise in New York City. So I think he's the perfect balance to be able to A, be electable, but B, be able to actually deal with problems. What are your thoughts on Spideys? I have no fucking clue what that is. I feel bad because you asked me $2.90. You sent $2.99, but you're not getting an answer to your question. I have no idea what that is. No clue. I think a lot of the things people say about cryptocurrency, as a currency, fine. As an investment, no. If you want to use cryptocurrency as a currency, go for it. If you want to use it as an investment, I prefer to invest in things that are real. A real company producing a real thing, a real good, a house, energy, food, software or something. I just refuse to buy. Like, I'm not gonna, spend $30,000 or $40,000 on a random hash. Isn't Cuomo on his way out by his own party? He is, but he has a way of kind of always getting around this stuff. He has a way of always managing to snivel his way and stick around. Yeah, Chris Watts is a sick fuck, Chris Groner. My business doesn't need to move to New York City, but I've always wanted the experience. Terrible idea with little kids. In my opinion, not a great idea. If you have little kids, you're going to want a larger place. You're going to want a backyard, a front yard, that kind of stuff. You're not going to want to be limited in space the way you will be here. And you will be limited in space here unless you are very upper class. So that's a personal preference question. And my personal preference would be no. But that's on you. But it's up to you. David Y funded $1.01. Thank you. Amazon's apparently paying $10 for your palm print. What? What are you talking about? I have no idea what that's about. Pet the kitty. I'm petting the kitty. He's getting a pet. Mr. Clinton's enjoying this way too much. You can tell that he's enjoying this way too much. A few words about what components you have in your bike, total cost, and thanks about ebikes.ca, great resource. Total cost would require me to pull out a spreadsheet, and I can't do that. Bafang BBS HD motor, soon to be upgraded to a Cyclone, which is actually cheaper. Phase Runner motor controller, EM3 EV batteries. And lower the integral gain on the Phase Runner, for fuck's sake. Don't use what they ship it with default. They have the integral gain tossed up to like 250 or 300. I put it down to 5 or 10. They're kind of hooked on integral gain. Then again, their name is Grin. I guess the Grin is integral integrinal gain? I don't know. You ever hear about silver? Silver is a shiny metal that you can sell for money, apparently. These questions are devolving into something that doesn't make much sense anymore. I think that means it may be time to end the video. It's getting close to time to end the video because the questions are no longer making any sense at all. Yeah, this is starting to get ridiculous. Is room on the wiki for two-way radio repair? There is room on the wiki for anything that you can contribute if what you're contributing is intelligent, well thought through, and correct. It's not just Macs, it's not just phones. If you want to put you want to make up the best two-way radio repair article in the world, then go for it. I would love to have it. I'd be honored to have it. Have you seen the Alexa pods? Can't wait to have Papa Jeff whisper ads in my ears. I have no interest in that shit. LOL at Embezzled Cat Food Fund. Yes. I feel like an MTA. My business isn't... Oh, I answered that one already. So thoughts on someone running a franchise in board repair? We started this Logic board repair shop in Atlanta. It's growing so fast. It's really hard to franchise that. It's hard to franchise anything without it becoming lowest common denominator. If you can do it, go for it. You definitely have a lot more talent than me if you can make that work. Before your videos, I never heard of greenies. Now my cats are addicted and my greenie budget is ridiculous. Yeah, they do get hooked pretty fast. Thoughts on guns? I don't own one, but I support your right to own one. If people are not going to shoot each other, then they're probably just going to, I don't know. People will find a way to kill each other if they want to kill each other one way or the other. Thoughts on states requiring proof of vaccination to enter businesses? I have a video on that I did yesterday, and where I gave my thoughts on that. If businesses want to decide for themselves that they only want to let vaccinated people in, you do you. I'll respect your rules. I'll respect your regulations. Go for it. But the state mandating that people put those regulations on their own business, and then the small businesses be the point of enforcement for it? Fuck that. Is there still a bar on 75th and 1st? I don't know, because I don't spend any time on the Upper East Side, because I am not a gossip girl. I don't spend any time on the Upper East Side. Athlete and Meester. Oh, God. Oh, shit. I've given you enough information to know that at one point in time I watched Gossip Girl. Okay, now I definitely have to delete the stream before it's done. Before the night is over. I cannot let that stand. Do you like the episode of Seinfeld where George sells computers with his dad in his garage in Queens? I don't remember that episode. You probably already mentioned Curtis Lee was mayoral candidacy. I asked twice if he wanted to do an interview. I never heard back. What I got back spamming newsletter templated emails, and then I just said this is not a real mayoral candidacy. Bye-bye. I don't think he's putting in the effort to actually win. He's just kind of a placeholder. I'm open to being proven wrong, but disagree. Being in the city is the best thing you can give a child who can't drive yet. It's different. Again, if you have multiple kids, like there are other cities out there where you're not going to be paying the insane rates that you're going to pay here. Thoughts on vaccine mandates for travel and school? I don't have as much of a problem with a vaccine mandate after you get it FDA approved. Get it FDA approved first. And if you're going to have a mandate for a vaccine that's not FDA approved, then you have to acknowledge that there's something in the FDA approval process that needs to change. It's just weird. I got chewed out so badly for criticizing the FDA for taking a long time to approve things due to what I believed were incompetence, and I argued what made me believe it was incompetence in a video I did 4 years ago that said I love government monopolies. And what really bothers me is that I got chewed out in that video, but then now I get chewed out for saying I understand why people would not want something to be mandated if not FDA approved. Again, I got the vaccine. What do you say to Cuomo right now if he was here? Me too? I don't know. The thing that bothers me is that a lot of the same people on the same side of the political aisle that were really mad at me for suggesting that sometimes the FDA is incompetent are the same people that are saying don't care that this vaccine, you shouldn't be mad that we want to mandate this vaccine without FDA approval. As somebody who got vaccinated, I understand why someone would not want to have a mandated vaccine before it gets FDA approval. And if you want to mandate it, at the very least do it after it gets FDA approval. I can understand the vaccine being optional prior to FDA approval. We have a culture in this country after the Radithor incident of wanting FDA approval for things that we mandate, or things that we put in certain things we put in our body. The Radithor incident taught us a lesson. Don't be like Eben Byers. You don't want holes in your brain. Don't be Eben Byers. Don't drink the Radithor. Favorite little-known YouTube channels. Steel Wheels Down. Steel Wheels Down. He does an electronics teaching channel. And just to be clear, I'm not saying that Radithor and the COVID vaccine are the same thing. I know what you're doing, you little friggin'... I see it. I see the wheels turning already. You know what I said. Let's see. What do you think about China surpassing the U.S. as a superpower in the next 10 to 20 years? I think the U.S. has lost a lot of the ambition that it had before, and I think the U.S. in many ways is kind of on a decline. Like when you look at what New York City was, when you look at what New York City was like before, and you look at what it is now, when it comes to all the thriving shops, when you look at places like Gary, Indiana, what they were 40 or 50 years ago, and what they're like now, when you look at a lot of the Rust Belt areas, and you look at just the I think that China appears to be on the way up, and we appear to be on the swing down. And I hope it changes. I really do. I hope I'm wrong. One of the things about being a pessimist is that when you're wrong, the world is better than you thought it was, which is a win. I started a computer repair business to turn on MSP about 8 years ago with the help of your utilized videos. How do you deal with burnout and feeling like you're running on a hamster wheel? You got to start focusing on your balance of real work versus hamster wheel work. And I have a video on the balance between hamster work and real work. And you got to figure out how you can offload some of your hamster wheel work to somebody else so that you can work on your real work, which is work that you can do once and will continue to make you money after you do it once, rather than work that you have to constantly do. And the moment you stop doing it, it stops giving you returns. Hear me out real quick. Try not to think of crypto blockchain as a challenge. Just think of it as new technology. Back when the was created, people didn't understand it, called it useless. I don't think cryptocurrency is useless. To be clear, I don't think it's useless. I think as an investment, you have not sold me on why this makes sense. If you want to think of it as a technology, by all means, I'll think of it as a technology and maybe useful technology. When people explain to me that this little hash thingy, this little like random cryptographic code is worth $35,000, I look at you and I go, have fun with that. Like, pessimistic, Nordstrom. We also have a lot of conflict. We have a lot of conflict and infighting based on ideological possession and tribalism, and that's not going to be good for us going forward. We don't work together. If we're not in it together, we're fucked. As long as half the country hates another half of the country, we are fucked. Can you add email notifications for when graphics card repair articles become available? That I can't do. No. I don't know how to do that. That would probably require knowing how to code. Recently I've been elected the IT guy of my friend group, and I've been enjoying it, but want to learn more intricate repairs. Any resources that you recommend besides yourself? Eve, let's see. Afrotech Mods, Steel Wheels Down, EEV Blog. Jessa Jones at iPad Rehab. Tim Herman at TCRS Circuit. STS Telecom at STS Telecom on YouTube. Ever heard of Ascend Acoustics? Thoughts? I prefer the Axiom M22 to the Ascend 340. 13 or 15 inch 2015 Macbook Pro than size. ThinkPad. Get a ThinkPad. You're asking the wrong dude, man. If you want me to tell you to get a MacBook, it's just not happening. It doesn't matter how much money you give me. Have you seen Gilmore Girls? I watched all 7 seasons of Gilmore Girls, and I watched 2 seasons of Gossip Girl. Any idea whether the driver and cable in 2012 MacBooks often craps out? I think it's Duke on the forum explains it's some like temperature-based distortion in the copper. You can see it under a microscope. It deforms and cracks. When you scrape off the black paint layer or whatever the coloring is, you'll be able to see the copper and you'll see a crack. Keep fighting the good fight for right to repair. Thank you, Slayer P3. I mean, your thoughts on silver. It's the most electrically conductive element in the world, and the role it will play in the future of society. It's a metal. I don't know, you're asking the wrong person that question. I'm sorry. I think I answered this one already. Again, silver is a metal. What role it will play in society? I mean, if we move towards more electric vehicles and batteries and all that, maybe we use more silver, but it's a very, 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 very general question to be asking a MacBook repair guy. If you buy it, it makes Peter Schiff happy. Lewis census if you don't go along with government propaganda. Didn't you know? That is bullshit, incorrect, garbage. Let's see. Any idea? I think I answered that one. Do you feel vindicated about Cuomo? Heimdall. No, I didn't need to be vindicated. I knew who he was from the beginning. I didn't need other people to approve of my opinions. I don't need other people to confirm to say that my opinions are crazy for me to be vindicated. If you or a loved one took the COVID vaccine in 2021, you may be entitled to financial compensation, says Pokemon 101. Yeah, you're probably calling about my car's extended warranty, aren't you, asshole? I think I answered this one. Well, I didn't give an answer because I don't really have one, but... I guess if you buy it, it'll make Peter Schiff happy. You should do what makes Peter Schiff happy. That is not financial advice. That is sarcasm. Thank you, B. Mason. Is that M. Bison or B. Mason? I think my brain is starting to leave my body. What's the Radithor incident? All right. Not safe for work. You guys ready? So in the 1910s and 20s, they sold something called Radithor. Radithor is water that's radioactive. And Radithor, if I can find a picture of this lovely gentleman, let's take a look. Let's get some Radithor on here. You guys ready? This is going to be good. People think you can't be one thing if you're the other, with me or against me or COVID instead of partially agree with both sides. Yeah, that's bullshit. Okay, here we go, baby. All right, so this is where America was 100 years ago. So for everybody who says things used to be better back then, blah-de-blah-de-blah, you know, this is the horrible times. I can't imagine having a kid now because of how bad everything is. This shit used to sell 100 years ago. So let's go over what this is. Let's go over the Radithor incident. Are you guys ready? Are you all ready to see this shit? All right. I don't think you are. Okay, ready? Radithor. Radithor is certified radioactive water that people would actually pay money to get because they thought it would increase their intelligence, increase their stamina, to help them when they were tired, make them more sexually active, all this good shit. This here is radioactive water. It contains radium and mesothorium. And Radithor would cause you to look like this. Try Protec Restore. Protec Restore cyanide sandwich. Protec Restore. It would also do... Are you ready? You want to... Oh! Ouch! Yeah, look at that. Tech year, I only think it will recover if we start from scratch. The real estate market has to crash for that to happen. The real estate market has to crash for that to happen. So this here is why we have an FDA. These are pieces of tape that I imagine he put there because he had holes in his brain. This is fucked up. Now, I understand that again, for all the complaining I do about some stuff with the FDA a few years ago, what the agency that transformed into the modern day FDA, this is the shit that caused it to happen. Because they actually fought this for a while. They were defending this shit for a long time and saying it was just fine. Drink this shit. It's great for you. Algo risk-reward assessment. And I looked into it, and it didn't seem that bad. It didn't have any Radithor in it. There are real companies behind those numbers doing great work. Chill's Chiz is an example. Just Google Chill's Socios. I have no idea what the fuck any of that is, and no, I'm not interested. I don't know what you mean behind those behind those numbers. I don't get what you're talking about. Picana. Okay, I am not hiding comments of people against government propaganda. But what I will do is I will hide people who are lying and bullshitting in my chat. Bye. Cry somewhere else. Feel free to cry somewhere else. I actually commented to someone who was talking about the vaccine and FDA approval, and my own comment disappeared this morning from my own comment section. Like, I actually did not see my own. I pinned the comment and I responded to it, and the comment that I left was actually deleted. Either way, I really don't have any patience for lying salt in my chat. So you get to go. Bye-bye. If you want to have a persecution complex, then I will give you something to have a persecution complex about. You are now gone. Your persecution complex has reached its final destination. You actually have something to cry about. If you move your business to a place with significantly lower cost of living, would you keep your employee salary the same? New hires. It really depends. If I move to a place with a lower cost of living, that would also mean that my prices would have to go down and that I'd probably have less walk-in business. The less walk-in business would be because the lower cost of living is a result of there being a lower density of people there. So I don't know how the employee salary thing would go. Unfortunately, I think as long as the authoritarian garbage and they versus us bill continues, I think the U.S. will continue on the decline. Thank you for what you do as it tries to combat at least a portion of that. Huh, thank you. What got me with the FTA is with Agile Therapeutics' patch. It was Twirla. It's supposed to replace this old patch that didn't do that sucked from a long time ago. Search Tuskegee experiment by CDC. Oh, I'm aware of it. I get why there's people that are minorities that are against getting this vaccination. But I forget what I was just talking about. Yeah, so they asked Agile to drum through all these hoops to test their product in a different way. And then when they did, they actually paid $5 million to have their stuff reviewed quickly. It was something, I forget the name of it because it's PDUFA or something like that, and they wrote the FDA wrote them a CRL saying, we got everything that you did, we got all the results of your test, we haven't had time to review it yet, so we're not going to, so it's not approved. It's like, what the fuck? But yeah, I get why the FDA is slow with shit. I want to see a subreddit of disenfranchised Louis Rossmann viewers. Okay, that's kind of funny. No, Greg Baritone, it was in a thread. So this wasn't a comment on the YouTube channel, in the YouTube video that I originated. Somebody else made a comment, I responded to it, and I looked this morning, and it wasn't fucking there. It pissed me off because I wrote like 8 paragraphs. But the thing is, when this happens, people accuse me of doing it. So it's like, okay, fine. You want to have a persecution complex, go do it somewhere else. John Schaefer says, good luck with New York City rules. Thank you. Goes to show that neither Republicans or Democrats care about their constituents because right to repair would already be passed, but money talks. It does. Have a burrito on me. Thank you, Robert. Do you think New York should eliminate rent control to balance the scales? I think you just need to reset from scratch with everything. Rent control does not appear to be doing a particularly great job. It seems to have disincentivized the building of anything other than super high-end housing that wouldn't qualify for rent control. Holy shit, have I been here for 3 hours? I've been here for 3 hours. My God. Floppy disk says, I don't know what to say. I think you're doing good work. LTTstore.com. Thank you. I gotta get going. I'm dead tired. I gotta get out of here. Have you looked into what the EPA wants to do in the car industry and trying to ban the act of people building performance cars and shut down shops building these cars? Thank you for your contributions about repair. I haven't. I get what they're trying to do. They're trying to crack down on emissions, but that's a dangerous road to start going down. Like, it's one thing if you get to the point where electric vehicles are so cheap and so easy to maintain and repairable and just better in every single way, and people just stop making gasoline cars and they go away. It's another if... Yeah, that's a tough one. Because the thing is, it's a really small... The people doing that, it's a small minority of people. So I do, like, how much of the emissions does that account for? Because I get what the EPA is trying to do. If you look at photos of New York City before the EPA and before, you know, cars had all this stuff in them to prevent there from being emissions, you'd have these giant smog clouds everywhere, and it was horrible. Particularly in large cities like New York, it was really, really bad. Downtown LA or New York, you know, it was bad. I get why they want to avoid that, but I just... When there's those types of infringements on freedom, they tend to bother me, even if it's freedom to do something that I wouldn't want to be done. What argument would you need to be true for you to think right to repair isn't a good idea? What argument would need to be true? I'm really bad at hypotheticals that don't exist. What argument would need to be true? I mean, all the arguments are BS. There's the argument that it makes things less safe. It doesn't. And honestly, even if there was a safety risk, I believe you as the user can choose to do something that's unsafe to yourself. There's the argument of privacy, but I mean, when you go to the manufacturer, they wind up leaking your photos and sex tapes to Facebook anyway. There's the argument of... Yeah, that's really it. And there's the intellectual property argument. I don't... Do strangers stop by the store and say hello? Sometimes they do. Sometimes they do. Sometimes it's weird. Anything new with your e-bikes lately? Nothing new with my e-bikes lately. LOL Cuomo thumbnail. Also, holy crap, that was $50. That's insane. Thanks for speaking out against lockdown laws. Tons of small businesses are going under, and it's cool to see someone who's known to the public speak out. What do you suggest people do next? I think people should act responsibly. If you're anti-lockdown, then just act in a responsible manner and run your business in a responsible manner, and be open to... Again, like, I had no problem with masks. I had no problem with masks. I had no problem with sanitizing shit. I did have a problem with locking down. And what was weird is a lot of people who were anti-lockdown were also anti-mask. And I kind of thought, well, I mean, if you're saying that people should stay open throughout the pandemic, then you should show that, then you should have some basic responsibility and accountability to do everything that you can to limit the spread of the virus while disobeying the lockdown order. So I was totally fine disobeying the lockdown order, but if I'm going to disobey the lockdown order, then I'm going to be as responsible as I can and space things apart in my store and space the customer area away and buy a giant air filter and have the mask and all that stuff. You're amazing. Keep doing you. I don't think I'm that amazing, Caleb Razor. I think I'm kind of a piece of shit, but I appreciate it. Thank you. Nothing new with my e-bike lately. Everybody should fight their own urges to dump emissions into the atmosphere. There's no worse threat. Yeah, I don't know. I just feel weird limiting freedom, even if I want to see less emissions in the atmosphere. It's a conflict in my head. The N95 shortage in the beginning really demonstrated the lack of preparation that we have when it comes to manufacturing things here. Like when we really needed something and we needed it now, there was no preparation whatsoever. Pay it forward that's dumb. And just proof, because people say, if you go against the government narrative, Lewis bans you. No, he doesn't. He just calls you stupid. Pay it forward 42, that's fucking stupid. Not banning you, you're just dumb. That's dumb. Okay. I'm out of here. I'm out of here. I'm out of here. It's time to get out of here. Fuck, there's another message. Just watch your video on the New York City mandate. We need more people pushing back and sweeping authoritarianism worldwide. I applaud your bravery. We'll see. We'll see how it goes. I don't know why that was the line for me. I don't know why that particular one was the line for me, but it was. Really curious to see how the critical race theory people pick that up. Really curious, because there's a group of people that New York City vaccine mandate to be able to eat and go and view Broadway shows and do all that stuff is going to affect. There's a particular group of people that's going to be affected, and it's the group of people that a lot of progressives in this city claim to care about. This is going to be interesting. This is going to be very fucking interesting. You know what would be insane? You know what would be absolutely insane? If after all the shit that's happened over the past 20 or 30 or 40 or 50 years, if that winds up being the thing that actually winds up getting minorities to vote Republican. I mean, this is just me being crazy here. This is just me being crazy. And, you know, again, I'm just talking, I'm just thinking out loud as I'm being crazy. The vaccine skeptics in New York City tend to be people who are minorities, based on experiments that have given them a reason to feel that way. Then you pass legislation that limits what a particular group of people can do, and that group of people tends to particularly be of one particular race because of the history. And then there's one political party that says we are going to restrict people, and then the other one says they're not. That would be really weird. That would be really weird. I just like maybe I'm in an alternate reality here, but it would be very strange if things worked out that way. I doubt they would, but I'm just curious. Thank you, engineer and mechanic. I'm just being crazy here. I'm just being crazy and thinking out loud. I offered my girlfriend my last gaming PC. She bought an Apple monitor computer. She moved it to her new store before I could say I only build my own systems. Oh, that's mean. Live in McAllen, Texas. Delta is bad due to the border. Huh. Delta seems bad everywhere. Do you find it suspicious that governments are pushing the vaccine this hard? No, I think what it is that a lot of these areas destroyed their local economies in the pursuit of close to zero COVID. So now they're really invested in it, because if they're not hardcore invested in zero COVID, then they're going to have to justify why they destroyed the economy for nothing. And the vaccine is a way that they believe they can get to zero COVID, which is why they're pushing it as much as they are. That's my bet. If I were to enter their minds for a moment and try to understand it from their point of view, that's what I would imagine it is. The nation has political realignment, so no, you are not being crazy. It could happen. Mosquito in your ears is very much so living up to his name. That's funny. Okay. That's funny. The Republican Party is responsible for the deaths of 600,000 American citizens. I think a virus was responsible for the death of 600,000 American citizens, and there are many countries on Earth that seem to be having a lot of COVID deaths that don't have a Republican Party. I don't think Italy has a Republican Party, or India, or the UK, or Canada, or Peru. Anyway, I'm out of here. I'm out of here. See y'all later. See y'all later. See y'all later. I gotta get out of here. Holy shit. Streaming for 3 hours and 3 minutes. What the fuck am I doing here? Alright. See you later. Bye-bye.